little bit of a pullback here to start things off this morning. We are seeing a little bit of positivity, however, coming on the back of the afternoon rally. There's Nvidia, yeah, downside right now, but was among the strongest going into the close yesterday, leading the semiconductors back to the upside, leading, for the most part, the overall market back to the upside throughout the afternoon. Here's what you need to know as far as economic data this morning. We got the ADP employment change number at 8:15, 77,000. Not even close to the 140,000 expected there, almost half to the downside there for the ADP employment change number. Remember, non-farm payrolls coming up on Friday morning, going to be the major employment data this week. We'll get S&P PMI final coming up at 9:45, the ISM version then, typically the one that actually moves the market at 10 o'clock this morning. It's Wednesday, so a whole bunch of energy data coming through at 10:30, but you know, nothing to talk about this morning. There's markets doing things, individual stocks moving around, but there's tariffs one day. There might not be tariffs the next day. We'll see how he's feeling today.
So CNN is reporting here, Brendo, that expect tariff announcements from Howard Lutnick today. Apparently on Mexico and Canada, it's going to be 25%, but there's going to be certain categories that may be excluded. He kind of teased that yesterday on Fox News when he went on, basically said that, you know, there would be some sort of compromise, didn't give any more details. More details coming out now, so can't wait for that announcement.
It changes by the hour almost.
Oh, yeah.
I saw it about 5 o'clock last night. There was even rumblings after the close yesterday that it might just be a one day and done type of situation that nobody really understood exactly what was going to happen. So stand by. More updates, more information to come throughout the day as always. Never a dull moment here. But I mean, lots moving around. That's Nvidia, as I mentioned. Here's the overall market trying to bounce a little bit here. Green. So, hey, we'll take it, guys, to start things off. Good morning.
Yeah, so far okay. But I don't know.
We've got a nice little bounce there. We almost turned red.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we were actually trending to go red a second ago, or maybe a couple of minutes ago for sure. CrowdStrike isn't going to be the reason we bounce today, I can tell you that much.
Hey, Randy.
Let me just...
Get the double Randys there again. Oh, it's still in the short sleeves, eh? We're really starting to feel springtime
really
around
stepping
here.
it up. We're getting a lot of rain today.
A lot of rain today. A lot of rain. Oh, wow. Great service to start the day.
Look at this.
Thank you, Randy.
A little bit of everything. And they got the dragon fruit is back in the fruit salad again.
Which way should I open this?
Oh,
I don't know. I wish someone would advise us how to do that.
I go to the one from yesterday.
Yeah.
Boom.
All right. Crypto, almost 90,000 again right now. Bitcoin 89.7 right now, trying to go. We have it here at the bottom. I'll call it up on a bigger chart just for a second here. But yeah, nice little bounce here, starting to go upside. If the NASDAQ continues its turnaround, I think, you know, BTC now, there's the 200 period on our 15-minute chart that we talk about. Like, you know, the last time we broke it was around here, 89.2. Now we're trying to hold, bouncing upside. Maybe there's something here right now. We'll see. That crypto summit happens on Friday. That's going to be a nice little thing to look out for. Cardano's back to $1, so there's some stuff happening there as well. We talked about that high about being 125, and here's IBIT. Nice move for IBIT, right? I mean, yeah. Basically covering up, you know, last couple of days, and we'll see if we can take this out. That's going to be 90,000 in and around 51.80 or so. So we'll see what happens here off the open for IBIT, and then, you know, Nvidia.
I like IBIT today.
Lots of different ideas today, I think.
Yeah, I like IBIT.
I'm going to sneeze though.
I feel I'm mixed about some of the chips. Like I want to keep an open mind because Intel was relatively weak. AMD's coming into the spot where it usually does its. You know, like it'll go up for a little bit on AMD and then the trend resumes back to the downside. So I figure you put a couple up days in a row and get to the top of the trend line, AMD turns into a short as strong as it was yesterday. So I want to keep options open here. But yeah, CrowdStrike's guide. I know we'll talk about this one, but yeah, not good. It was a pretty big miss on the guidance for EPS. Maybe a day, I don't know, but 330 to 330 to 340 is kind of the monster support level on Crowd. It held this from November to January. It held the same support, and now that's going to be the 200 period moving average. So suffice to say, if you get continuation on CrowdStrike today, I'm looking to buy it down there. I don't know if there's going to be enough weakness in it to get to that price, but yeah, it's not often you see a level like that on a stock like that. Like, you got to look for it there. And it'll be SSR if it gets down there.
It probably will bounce.
I think so. I mean, Crowd always bounces.
Today, people like that stock.
Yeah.
Intel on the CHIPS Act again. I was watching that. I was watching most of that last night. I thought it was pretty entertaining, but I don't know. I mean, as expected, he delivered. So that's gave his base what they wanted.
Lies.
It was just the senator there from California, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, kicked out in the first minute, I think. Al Green, right? But okay, so there it goes. Anyways, the CHIPS Act was talking about it there, maybe getting rid of it and putting the money towards the U.S. debt. So I don't know what that means, how if that's the money's already earmarked. I don't know anything about it, but I do know that Intel right here is looking like it wants to continue downside. So, nice little trend there. It's been pretty bad. That's at $25 2 days ago, and now you're down here to 21. So you're getting quite a haircut here on Intel. I kind of like the long down here. We talked about this yesterday, but I don't really like that kind of talk. So I wrote it down here on the sticky note to watch out for that because I think that's a decent catalyst. So we'll wait to see what happens with Intel. Hopefully earlier on we can get a little bit of a bump when this market opens up, but right now we are trending lower. So,
Just reading about Robinhood here. Anyone with a Robinhood account, 4:45 coming up this afternoon. They're doing live trivia on the Robinhood app with a chance to win up to 1 million notional, 1 million notional in Bitcoin. So 4:45 this afternoon, apparently, live trivia.
Interesting.
I was looking at Robinhood. It didn't do anything on that, but down a little bit here.
It's an interesting technical level here, Brendo, because we made these kind of like all-time highs into almost $67. I think a few weeks ago, middle of February there, we're at the 50 period, but what I really like about this is there's an obvious area top here in and around 43, 45. It looks like we've been defending that. So you wonder if this is a retest of that previous area resistance and a good time to buy Robinhood. What a year it's been. What a couple of years.
It's crazy.
For Robinhood.
Yeah, I mean, we're, as you said, back to that, basically where it closed yesterday. So a little bit of relative weakness compared to, what we saw in some of the semiconductors yesterday. But yeah, anyone who wants to win potentially 1 million notional in Bitcoin, 4:45 this afternoon on your Robinhood app.
Yeah,
4:45. Okay, I was gonna say because if it was any earlier, I might have take the afternoon off.
Exactly.
Get the $1 million Bitcoin, baby.
And then try to get a million.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that good at trivia. I don't.
Well, it depends on what. I'm assuming it's going to be. I don't. You know what? I'm not going to make an assumption on what kind of trivia it's going to be.
Some people are like.
There's going to be some Ken Jennings dude in there.
That's what I mean.
That's going to win.
I'm not.
No, but Sharif, man, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Jennings, I would be signing.
Yeah, like Ken Jennings, there's someone like that dude, someone like that who is already like an absolute maven is about to make $1 million.
Yes, but, that's a good point.
Or Rosie Perez from White Man Can't Jump, which Joe still has to watch. Don't think we forgot about this. You got to watch the original White Man Can't Jump.
It's such an old movie though for him.
But it's so good.
Oh no, it's not that. It's
it's really funny.
There's a new one. I don't know. Something about a new one.
We're not watching the new one. I'm not even wasting my time with the new one. I'm gonna tell him.
I can't. I am surprised Joe hasn't seen that one. What did we come over here with? Oh yeah, Robinhood.
Robinhood stock. It was everything did a V-shaped recovery.
I want to buy
yesterday.
the stock actually. Yeah.
But like this one, it actually. We always talk about, let it go off of support or prior resistance into support. Well, that's exactly what happened with Robinhood. There's a few stocks that have this bottoming tail candle with a potential breakout set up today. Amazon's got one at 207. Palantir's kind of got one. Palantir's is a double bottom, so that makes it better in my opinion. But yeah, it's sort of the same thing. Bottoming tail candle, break out the prior high, lots of room to run. So you're going to see a lot of stocks like this and what I like about that setup is, if we just sell off the open, you're not trapped in a long. And if it breaks the top, you can quickly get out of it if you like it. But Robinhood's not the one I was watching. I don't think this catalyst, I just can't see this catalyst making a big deal today. I think it's a cool promotion for sure. And, good luck to anyone out there that tries their hand. I hope someone from our community somehow pulls Ken Jennings and wins that thing.
Yeah, that'd be sick. I don't think I was just saying when we heard the story, I didn't even know about it. That's nothing to move the stock. I mean, it's just it's a good name to trade. Liquidity's here again, 650,000 shares today already. I like the stock, and I think that we should probably think about buying it. XLF got hit yesterday. Real bad, and we talked about that. We had Michael Noss on talking about it breaking out to the long side. Might be a good opportunity to take advantage of some dips in here, especially if, because what one day doesn't make a trade irrelevant. It's just, if you do like the space, you're going to be getting a couple good discounts here off of some crazy moves recently. Like SoFi was just $18, now down to 13. Now SoFi's PE, is around 40, and Robinhood is around 28. So maybe you could pick on that as far as valuation and which one you might want to go with. But yesterday SoFi got this real big kick there when the market turned around. So it was up almost $1.30. So if this market can turn around, we know for such a cheap stock, only $12 or $13, SoFi can have the goods to get going. So this could be a name to look out for today as well. Up on the day, greater than both the NASDAQ and the ES. ES is flat right now, SoFi up 0.5% with Robinhood. So there could be something here, both of them doing over 500,000 shares. I look to buy maybe SoFi down here at 13. Let's see what happens early. So yeah, I kind of like these off finance plays because crypto is going to be a thing, man. It's not going anywhere. And Robinhood had a 70% increase in their crypto business, or 700%, increase in their crypto business over the quarter. So, yeah, I think it's something to look out for sure. But, anyways, all right, we're gonna continue here. We, I don't know, watching Bitcoin at 90,000.
Yeah,
that's interesting to me right now.
I definitely like Bitcoin. The other thing worth watching, I do think is going to be, not the word, since we're on the topic, Coinbase. The Coinbase had a look, big V shape, but this is not a V shape. Like, dude, this is probably a different, what do we call that? Like a square root. It looks like the square root sign, but that's not a V-shaped recovery because it did that and then some and went big time green. And coin, it's $7 away from like a 222, which looks like a little bit of a wall. I know there was this little nonsense up here at 236. Going out a couple of days, but this is another one that caught a nice little bid. The 200 level just held on Coinbase. There's a bunch of these today. Now, I like Bitcoin probably the most to try to trade because I think if that holds up, you just get a winner there, and it tends to trend great. But Coinbase has another good stuff. The only thing that's kind of a little iffy about it, in the longer term, it's under that 200 period. But I do like the candle that one put in, more than just a V-shape. But it's so far away from the breakout. Hood's closer. Palantir is really close to it. Amazon's pretty close to it. But coin, yeah, if Bitcoin goes, it's got a lot of room to be able to recover here.
BTAI just popping up in front of me here, a little one moving around in the pre-market. Sharif and I were just talking about this one. I mean, the stock didn't move on this, but BlackRock, really interesting headline coming out late yesterday. $22.8 billion acquisition of essentially the Hong Kong assets that are controlling the Panama Canal currently. Going back to what Trump said during inauguration, that this was one of the things that they felt needed to be back in U.S. hands. So $22.8 billion from BlackRock to purchase these assets essentially around the Panama Canal. I mean, that was very quiet yesterday afternoon, and I haven't seen it anywhere this morning. I mean, as I said, the stock really not doing anything. But
wasn't talked much about, Brendo, to be honest with you. But yeah, absolutely, you're right. CK Hutchinson, that's the company they're buying it off, selling their $22.8 billion stake in the port unit. The sale to give to BlackRock led group about 90% of the Panama Ports company. CK Hutchinson says the sale is purely commercial, and they're claiming it's unrelated to politics. But Trump says Trump says his government has started to reclaim the Panama Canal. JP Morgan calls this sale a surprise and opportunistic, Brendo. So we'll definitely keep watching this. It could be the start of something bigger.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were just saying, are they trying to front run something that people don't? I mean, it's all speculation at this point, but really, really interesting for BlackRock. This one moving as well. Stellantis 7.5% to the upside this morning. I mean, they warned that U.S. tariffs on Mexico and Canada imports could essentially put their brands at a huge disadvantage versus some of the European companies and manufacturers.
Yep. And this company's already having trouble. Even here in Canada, they have a big plant in Brampton, Brendo, and they were supposed to retool it so that they can make a new electric vehicle. I think it was a new Compass, the Jeep Compass EV. That's all been put on the chopping block right now, and it's been paused. It could be put on the chopping block going into the future. So tougher for the company. They haven't really been able to find their footing. You kind of feel GM's outperforming them a little bit. Ford's kind of bottoming out. We'll have to wait and see how Stellantis does.
I saw one of those on the weekend at a gas station, and I have to say, as far as that EV sound, that hum. It's very strange coming from a Jeep.
It is. I gotta agree.
And it pulled up behind me, and I thought it was the Tesla or something like that. And I turned around, there's a Jeep there. It was very, very strange. But
Especially when you put it in reverse, it's even louder.
Yeah. But really interesting on a Jeep. But yeah, STLA guys, nice pop here, 7.6%.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like by now, I'm kind of used to the EV hum. It's just, I get it. You're not used to seeing on certain vehicles, but I feel like you get a little bit more used to it. To me, the fact that the hum, and this has nothing to do with the stock, the fact that the hum is louder when you put it in reverse, I think is fantastic, because one of the things is so quiet backing out, especially if you're on a non-busy street and your kids are out and about, and you want to be able to hear sometimes a vehicle that's backing for both parties. But the automakers, including this one, I mean, that doesn't look like a very good chart, not at all. But there's always a but. On volume, Stellantis might be making a bit of a bottom. Remember, they're going to trade in Europe as well, right? So you're going to see it on multiple markets. It trades in Paris, it trades in Milan. So you always have to watch out. If you happen to be looking at this at 11:30 when Europe closes, just know that there's usually a pretty big volume shock. But yeah, nice little wick bottom here for Stellantis. Even if it's not breaking out, it's usually the kind of thing that gets maybe a temp low and then a retest of the brick wall at $14 on STLA. Not a ton of volume right now, and not a name that we would trade. But if this is your cup of tea, then more power to you, maybe. But the problem is that even if you tried to swing it into the local high, it's just as close to that top as it is to the bottom. So for names like this, I want them breaking out that 14 area to try to get into a swing trade, not guessing at the absolute low. I'd rather catch it when it's finally breaking out above that level, and then be able to give it maybe back into a 50 period and then hold. So yeah, it doesn't really interest me that much, but hey, might be making an actual bottom here. So maybe Ford can do its bottom next, and these can stop looking so bad.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget about GM. I mean, GM might be the most heavily held name in this tariff sort of war right now as far as cars are concerned. I mean, obviously Tesla is going to be a big one, but General Motors up 5% here today. And again, some people say, okay, we got to wait to make these purchases. There's more downside to come and this and that. But when stocks maybe get to levels, maybe they just need to be bought. And you never know what news story is around the corner, but there goes GM. It did have a move up to 49. We'll wait to see if that can come back in right there. But yeah, a nice little move upside there. Closes around 45 up to 47.50. Let's see if General Motors can keep sort of that trend going higher. So yeah, I mean, some of the car companies might be back into play there. One name I was looking at as well, I'm not in this name anymore. I don't remember where we got out. But I thought, U.S. I mean, we know the deal with U.S. Steel. We had this huge move down into 115, 116, this Nucor. So, and then all of a sudden, now bumping back up, but having a problem getting through 145. So this might be something I want to look at down here if we can get back into that 125, 126 area, just to get something else in the account other than some tech names. Not a bad opportunity here for Nucor and some, the largest steel producer in the United States, I believe, anyways. So, and that's Nucor, up 2.6%. So, and we had gold the other day. We talked about that. I talked about this yesterday with Chris Brecher, and we were just saying about how this actually does have some kind of a store of value. We compared it to a little bit of digital gold there as well. But on pullbacks, this could be another flight to safety a bit there. Energy was hit. Yesterday we had uranium up and we had solar up. I don't know if you want to put your money into that. I do have SMR on the sticky note here today, so we want to look over there as well. But gold making a pullback down here. Pretty good, actually, as the Nasdaq's bumping back, gold making a move down.
A couple other things moving around. Moderna up big time, 7% to the upside, coming back in pretty hard, actually, right now. It just went back through 33. Some insider buying. The headline here for Moderna this morning, always a very volatile name. I mentioned that BTAI, saw a couple of people talking about this one, coming back into $3 as well. A few small caps, CMRX is another one. That looks like a buyout. I'll double check on that, but up huge.
Yeah, not a bad look here, Brendo. It looks like a buyout. Yeah, hanging out about 840 or there. You can always tell when they're buyouts, guys, because they don't trade within a discernible range. They kind of just like very sideways, say like at 525. I think this thing closed at $5, and all of a sudden they're up 850 and they're not moving. So there's a reason why it's trading like that. But Brendo, BTAI, interesting one here. A lot of aggressive moves into that $3.50, 3 2/3, but breaking down now below the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it can hold $3. It closed at about 270 yesterday.
Yeah, $8.55 per share for CMRX. Jazz Pharma picking up that one.
And then there's expected tomorrow, I believe, is Walgreens. They're saying there's going to be they said by Thursday Walgreens could get bought or the deal could get finalized. I'll be in and out of this CMRX. If I say CRMX, you know what I mean. But whenever I see something like this, my first thought is, hey man, somebody knows something. Like if you see a buyout, and anyways, like and I don't know if there were rumors, so don't at me if there weren't any rumors here. But when a stock does this and then is like just steadily trending up, I tend to think that somebody has some kind of like knowledge, was like the accumulation in there. So if you see trends like that and there's rumors of it being bought, every now and then like you get the first bounce and then there's the higher low in there. And if you can maybe buy it as it's sort of gliding higher, again, you want there to be rumors, and it's like, oh, if nothing happens and it takes out that little support, then you just jump away from the stock. So I'll be in and out of it. Like it's just going to be a trade of just trading around the same price over and over again. So the daily chart's not going to matter. Like it's just going to sit here doing absolute. Let's put it this way: if it does move, then that's the problem. If the stock moves more than like a few cents, so that's going to be an issue. But I think that. And there's not a lot to capture if we do get a deal when it comes to Walgreens. Like you might think, oh, but they're going to announce a Walgreens deal. I believe the latest speculation is it was going to be just above $11 anyways. So Walgreens might have a little bit more juice if that happens to it. There's like 3, 4, 5% potentially, but there's nothing official as to what that price is going to end up being. So yeah, I mean, they're good to trade if you have direct market access. If you're here at Real Trading, you make good money doing it. But when you see a gapper like that, for most day traders, you're likely to stay away. For our retail guys.
All right. Good look there on the way the market moves and some of the mechanics there and how you can take advantage of that depending on what your software is all about. I was just looking at BBAI for a minute, not doing too much here. Palantir is starting to go to the upside. I mean, the market's going to be sort of dictating what's happening right now. Up 1.5%. So we'll see. We're long. This time I looked at my average price, $4.96 right now on Big Bear AI. In the, it's in the TFSA, but I want to hold this one for a minute. I think we can get back up to that, $8, $9 mark, somewhere like that. Okay, upgrades and downgrades. Let's go see which names are going to be tickling our fancy.
Palantir at the top of the list here. William Blair. This note is really interesting here. They upgraded to market perform, saying that because Palantir dropped 33% over the last few weeks, it's finally come to an appropriate valuation. So fascinating note. You can check out more about that on at the Trader TV Live watch list, but it's not maybe as bullish as it might appear. Then we have TKO with an upgrade from Seaport Research Partners, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines here getting upgraded by Loop Capital, and JP Morgan Chase upgrading into it. The downgrade side of things, AutoZone here with a downgrade from Argus. HSBC Securities downgrading T-Mobile, which is actually one of the strongest NASDAQ names of the year so far. Then we have Sonova with a downgrade from Mizuho. They reported earnings this week. Last but not least, CubeSmart Self-Storage with a Scotiabank downgrade. So some pretty interesting names here, but Palantir probably the largest here, guys.
What, we don't love AutoZone?
Yeah, we love
Sharif, Sharif, you like AutoZone? Yeah, well, I feel like it was... Yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. Somebody the other day was saying something about AutoZone. I'm trying to remember who, but maybe it wasn't Sharif. It might have been Randy.
There were some earnings with AutoZone.
It could have been. Too long ago. Yeah, it might have been Randy. Palantir, I'm going to go out on a strong limb and suggest that Palantir is the one that everyone's going to be interested on that list today. Call it some kind of a weird hunch, but it's going to be true because that's how the market rolls. Double bottom on Palantir. That's what I care about. Upgrade, downgrade. It doesn't really matter. Double bottom into what is a pretty obvious resistance spot, at least for the last couple of days, a lower high, like around 88, and then yesterday the turnaround at 88. Oh, that was a market turnaround. I think if it can get out and break 88.5, there's some room to go. I think you have room to 94. Obviously, first stop 90's got some resistance on it. We know Palantir in big round numbers. A bunch of people on the offer, and then it's like its own breakout trade at that price. So yeah, yesterday's high looks pretty good. I think the 84 level, as long as we don't lose 84, if you lose 84, probably not going to be fighting around looking for some longs unless it gets down to 78. But yeah, Palantir, the good thing about the breakout is if we just start dropping at the open like a falling rock like the other day, then you don't have to worry about taking a breakout trade. And if we do breakout, I don't want to hold it past back through 88 because when Palantir fails a breakout high, here's looking at you on the 27th, that is not something you want to get wrapped up in.
Yeah, so the sticky note's going to be on in a second, and Palantir is going to be on it. It's one of the last notes that I have on it right now. But look, at the end of the day, being up 1.73%, it's nice. Normally, I'd be all excited about it because we're greater than the market and all that. But the way this thing can trade and does trade, especially off the open, it's never really... It gets going and you think that you're going to miss the train. At least I do, right? And it's like, okay, I try to buy it as it's going up. And then all of a sudden it's like you try to hold it and it crashes in, and then we'll even break some of the levels again. But you could see right here, the pre-market high, came into play yesterday. We broke it and we really did rip in. Then the pre-market low kind of became some kind of support, not the ultimate low, but came back in again there. And then we took off into the end of the day before, the whole market kind of gave back. So battle back in the after hours there. We did have Trump talk yesterday. Hopefully there is some sort of deals with, Ukraine gets done and all this kind of stuff. And then we can get back to some more government contracts and just go back to the way things are. But at the end of the day, I don't think Palantir is trading on valuation too much. There's just a lot of momentum happening in this name, and it needs to be bought. And, looking for dip buys, I have 83.50 written down as a level that I really like. So we'll wait to see if that can come into play on a 5-minute chart. This is 83.50 right into here. So just thought that this little gap area, we break through 84, then you come in and maybe you don't worry about exiting until about 83. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I'll lose a couple, then I'll make a couple on Palantir, and at the end of the day, I look down, it's like, I didn't really make that much on it. So let's try to be a little more patient with this name. It's definitely going to be moving around. We don't have any of the imbalances yet. So once that comes out at 925 for the NASDAQ, then we'll be able to see maybe where the market's, taking some of these names, because this is what the NASDAQ looks like now. All right. And it's hard to say like, I like longs. It's not in me right now to say that. So I do like Intel short, but Intel's already going down.
Right on the line.
So Palantir is it's very vulnerable up here. That's all. If the market wants to get hit, and it's not for what the bell tolls over there or anything like that, but it's just, this is a little too dark.
We need to get some of those on our stream deck.
Yeah, we don't have any of those. But
I love that.
It's little Fabian's House of Cards over there, his little magic box.
Yeah.
But no, at the end of the day, hard to get too excited about some of these names where we are right now. So let's just wait, see what we can get closer to 930. But Palantir to me looks like a long, but we're going to have to wait for better prices.
Boom.
Back to negative here for the overall markets. We're kind of chopping around, not really doing a heck of a lot. Speaking of chopping around, here's Disney right now. Dead flat, 0.000 currently, right where it closed yesterday. Pretty ugly day for Disney. Some job cuts announced this morning. ABC being restructured, declining audience, yada, yada, yada. Nothing we haven't heard before.
No, it's them trying to shore up costs to take on Netflix. 200 people, sadly, are going to lose their job. It's going to be across ABC News and Disney Entertainment Network's unit. Yet another sign that the entertainment company is prioritizing streaming over what was once its core business, obviously linear television. So a bit of a tougher look there, Brendo, but we'll see how the stock reacts.
Overall, the market kind of leaning in that direction as well. But yesterday's low coming in here pretty quick as far as Disney is concerned, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's get a look at the overall market here.
57.89, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday on the ES March contract. We're awfully close to it right now. We're almost at 57.89 on the dot. So we're giving back all these overnight highs, and the technical analysis here is coming into play because 58.75 was an obvious area where we kind of tried to defend yesterday, and then all of a sudden, we moved that overnight, so we're rejecting that area. So we're already below 5,800 as we speak. We're looking at 57.50 as support. If we can get above 5,800, it'll be that same look, 58.25 as resistance.
If you haven't done so yet, free resource for you coming your way. Go down to the description of this video right now. Top link in the description will get you to the sign up page. All you need is your email address, and then you can just have the watch list for free. Just have it. Take it. 3% right now. Crypto at the top this morning. 3% right now on a bounce. Nice bounce here for IBIT. There was a lot of buyers waiting down here on that gap down yesterday. This thing just marched higher from about mid-morning, I guess it was, right into the close yesterday. Here we are up another 3% today.
So in addition to teasing about other things, Howard Lutnick came out yesterday, Brendo, and talked about a major shift in the Trump's crypto policy. So let's look at it over here. They are set to announce a major shift in U.S. cryptocurrency policy, including plans for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick confirmed that details will be unveiled at the White House Crypto Summit on Friday. Trump emphasized Bitcoin's importance. So this was a bit of an issue with some people here because they were not very unhappy with the fact that he was throwing more cryptocurrencies, XRP, Cardano, Solana as well. He says here he's going to give special treatment to Bitcoin under the new policy. He's going to include these other cryptocurrencies, Brendo, but they're going to be handled a little bit differently.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on, I mean, that reaction, you have to say in general, coming off that announcement on Sunday has been really disappointing across the board. As you say, catching a lot of people by surprise as far as what's going to be included. But holding on to 51 here or near 51, guys, for IBIT. What do we do today?
Yeah, it's like 89. It looks more interesting than 90 the more I look at it. And that's where I'm looking today. And it's about, so on IBIT, that's going to be 50 and a half. So like the 89 level, that's where you got to kind of topped out in the afternoon. It was a breakdown day before. It's had some resistance. I'm just talking about the levels intraday. Obviously, it's a 24-hour market, but that's a significant one. We're already trending down into it. So I think you have a chance, but you need to be patient off the open because I think we all understand the last little bit, catching dip buys through prior pre-market lows in this environment in the first few minutes has not been the greatest strategy in the world. So if a level is going to hold, I'd almost prefer that it hold cleanly and part in some higher lows off of that. Then you can start trading out and about above it instead of trying to catch that falling knife. So, that's the level I'm watching. It's about 89,000. We're pretty much right there. And with 27 minutes to go, it wouldn't surprise me if you're trading at or below it, but that doesn't mean I want to blindly buy anything. It's not. I don't think it's that kind of day. I want to join things. If we start going and breaking out over key levels, I'm going to be joining longs if we show that kind of strength. But if we go dip buy hunting, I got to be very, very patient off of the open, especially when you have a downtrend and then a rally like yesterday. I think that can set up a lot of traps. Long term, feel absolutely fine here with Bitcoin. I think it makes perfect sense for them to say that Bitcoin's going to be the focus of a strategic reserve. That's what everybody assumed in the first place. It was the other side of it that caught everybody off guard. So I think Lutnick's just kind of saying, calming everybody down, which I guess that's what his role would be in this situation. So he didn't say anything that was a big deal. Even if you put the other ones in there, Bitcoin was always going to be the biggest of the holdings, but we still have no hard facts, and hopefully we'll find out on Friday.
The thing is, too, is that once the United States does something, other countries will follow suit as well.
Not us.
Maybe us. Who knows? Well, we're going to have a new government in a couple months, so we'll have to see what they do. But, just looking at Mara down here, I think it's kind of shown the trade that we had mentioned before was getting long into this area, watching $12 hold there, and a lot of upside. If things can work out, for BTC and for mining and even for some of the other coins that we're talking about there, right? high tide lifts all ships. So I think there's a great chance this can get back to 17 in here, 17 to 19, where you have the 200 period moving average. This is a daily chart. So yeah, I kind of like buying dips here on Mara, and I think you had an advantage, an opportunity to do that the last couple of days, right down in here into $13. I mean, those were great longs, right? So if crypto can crash. So if it can get to 83 again, which would be 10% down or so, right? I mean, so that's a 10% move. Remember, store of value, right? So if we can move 10%, I can't believe we were even saying that, and we just did it yesterday, down again, then I think Mara might be a good buy down here at 13.25 or so. See if we can hold that $13 level, and then we'll see from there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fact that we're bouncing off 90 right now, but that might just give us an opportunity to get long. So why don't we put some bids down here, 13.50 maybe? You know, start the bidding around there. See if you can get picked up on some Mara, especially if crypto, you know, makes a move down, and you might be overweighted on iBid or on the coin itself. Maybe take a shot with Mara. So you have your stop at $12. Honestly, like to go long at 13.25 and have your stop at 12. I think it's a lot of
10% risk.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad at all
on Mara. That's
for the
fantastic
upside on Mara. So, anyways, could be a way to play options in that as well. So, all right, you look, it's our watch list right now. You can go get it. Scan that QR code. Description is in the. It's in the description.
Link in
our description.
It's all good.
Better just to scan the QR code at this point. So do that. It's completely free, man. It's what I built. The sticky notes out. I build it off of that. We have some great ideas on there. Small cap runners at the bottom as well. Major news, economic releases, upgrades, downgrades, the whole work. So go make sure you scan that and the e-signal QR code as well while you're at it. You might as well do both.
It's just some
might as well do both. Yeah.
First month free.
Yeah. Something like that.
A bunch of product announcements just coming through here for Apple. I mean, the stock's really not reacting to this. It's going down, if anything, but they've unveiled the M4 MacBook Air featuring up to 18 hours of battery life, 12 megapixel camera, center stage camera, and other details. They also unveiled a new Mac Studio computer and the M3 Ultra chip. So there's a bunch of product launches, or announcements anyways, just happening right now for Apple. Keep an eye on that. There's also something on Nvidia, GTC 2025 coming up. March 17th, I just checked, is their AI conference. So
oh boy.
Nvidia's CEO Jensen saying they'll unveil, quote unquote, what's next at GTC this year, coming up March 17th for Nvidia.
Oh, that's going to be a big day for us. We'll have to definitely cover that. So we'll keep tabs on that. Let's talk a little crowd, though, Brendo, because stock's down almost 9% here in the pre-market. So it was a weak guidance, guys. They beat on revenue, $1.06 billion, beating the street's estimate of $1.03. They did miss, though, or you can't really tell, on earnings per share, $1.03 they printed. Apparently, it's not directly comparable to estimates. Let's talk about the guide, because that's what we move on right now. Net loss. They lost about $92.3 million compared to the $53.7 that they had printed previously. Annual recurring revenue, about $4.24 billion, surpassing the street's expectations of $4.21. Now we're talking about the guidance. Full year 2025 guidance. Adara brought this to my attention in the morning. They're guiding $3.33 to $3.45 earnings per share. That's well below the estimates of $4.42. That's almost $1 miss there, if not more, at the lower end of the range. With respect to Q1 2025 earnings, Brendo, they're guiding 64 to 66 cents per share, which also handily missed the street's estimates of 95.
Yeah, that all said, nice bounce underway here, guys. I mean, this is a higher time frame anyways. 3 candles in a row back to the upside here to start things off.
Yeah, I think we've seen this story before with CrowdStrike. Where there's some sort of a miss or a hiccup on earnings, and then by the time you get to the open, you feel like you've already made the low. Ideally, look, perfect world, like I said, 330 to 330. I guess it's more like 340. I think I said 338, and that's being way too technical. 330 to 340 is, I think, an obvious buy zone on a quality stock. So it doesn't seem as likely that we're going to get there because the stock just bounced like $10 off of the low. So the chances that you break that low and then rush another $20 down, not necessarily as high for CrowdStrike. So I don't see necessarily myself trading this. one other option could be, and another reason why we're talking about why you should always stick around, make sure you catch the aftermarket show, is some of the levels and where the buyers come in on a stock like this. You saw it level off at like $360, because that could be your go zone. If it's not going to get down to that big level in the 30 to 40 range, then you've got the 360 underneath that you can use, because that's where it held in the aftermarket, and now trading at 66. But yeah, I don't see myself trading it. Had it gone really far down, then it would have gotten really exciting for me for a bounce trade. But we'll stick to the name that's next, because Palantir is next as I see it on the list. And then we're looking at some chip names as well, like Intel today. We'll talk. We already talked about IBIT, but yeah, I'll probably pass on CrowdStrike unless disaster strikes.
Yeah, look, when we opened the show, we started with CrowdStrike. That was about a half hour ago. I said it's going to go up from here. Now it's up $8 from there. And I think that that's what you just want to do. You want to play, obviously, on earnings. We talk about pre-market breaks. And so you want to wait now to see about a retest down here near 357. That's about the best advice I can give here. I think it's going to be a long. The problem is the PE right now is 90. It's pretty, pretty up there, right? The forward PE is something like 700, according to Benzinga right now with those guides. So 357, I would say you want to wait to see what happens down there. I'm not too worried about that wick at 8 o'clock with sort of the dark pool dumps, but that was down to 352, 353. So yeah, I think you just want it to pull back. Get long, retest these bottoms, make sure that there are actually buyers there, because you're only at 300,000 shares. But again, CrowdStrike's off $100 from its top, so that's a pretty good burn there, down about 20% or so. And now if you do fall into where all this consolidation happened, I think that's a buy if you wanted to, again, get into something that shouldn't be tariff specific, right? Let's just give them a sandbag quarter. If they're going to guide that low, they'll probably beat. So, and then when they do beat, they'll be like, there we go. We beat again, and then we look forward to the next quarter. So sometimes you just have to put up with it a little bit. And I think CrowdStrike right now is having some medicine, and we'll just see if it bounces off that 357 today.
You're trying to hold a little bit higher at this point. Still a ton of relative strength versus what happened to the rest of the market yesterday specifically. And then here we are up better part of 2% almost, or was 1.8% anyway. A couple of minutes ago. Lots of positive analyst moves. William Blair with a full-on upgrade for PLTR this morning. They're also teaming up with TWG Global on a joint venture to deploy an AI program across financial services and insurance. So all kinds of strength yesterday. Here we are again.
Yeah, not bad here. They've kind of removed their bearish stance, Brendo, off Palantir, upgrading it from underperform to market perform. No specific price target that is given for the sell-off. But here's the deal. So Palantir share have already fell 33% in the past 3 weeks, dipping down from 125 to 84. Partly due to this Doge-driven sell-off and likely the cuts that are coming in to the Defense Department. But despite the decline, the firm still considers Palantir's valuation frothy, with a potential 40% downside risk if the government contracts, which they rely heavily upon, are delayed.
From the current point, which has already come in a lot, back to 80 here, guys, and holding nicely for Palantir.
It doesn't work out to exactly that super support zone at the 60 whatever level. So that 40% down would take you actually a little bit underneath where I think everybody wants it, in that 60 range. There it is on the daily. Remember, this chart's just going to show up from when it went to the NASDAQ. But actually works out because it shows you the double bottom at 64. So, worry about that when it gets there. I think that's going to be an interest. Whatever, that's kind of an obvious buy zone. Today, I love the double bottom on Palantir. Any stock that's had that kind of a pullback, you get double barrel support. If we see that price, great, for sure, like it's the long side. But I really do think, if we can resist this move back in, hold that lower high, the higher low from yesterday, and bust it out at 88.5, I'm gonna like that breakout. And if it traps some shorts by breaking down, maybe all the better. It's got a bit of a wide range, and I didn't really want to be trading it in the middle. I either want this going or waiting for that big level that we got down there on PLTR. That said, if it flushes the prior low at 84, that 84, 85, and is able to hold on to that, you can always start working. And if it forms a double bottom there, I mean, I don't mind intraday double bottoms either. I just feel like I like to break out, and I like to dip buy at 70, 78, 79, and one of those two things is a heck of a lot closer than the other. You'd have to drop like a rock to see that double bottom.
Yeah, look, I don't want to get down to $80 today, that's for sure. But yeah, we wrote it down there. There's a nice little upgrade. If we can get a dip buy into $83.50, $84, I like that. It's pretty simple here. Couple ideas. Go look for it. Thank you for everybody that is checking out the sticky note. But right there's 84 right at the end of the day yesterday. I just think Palantir's vulnerable again. Like it's just one of those names where, you know, we talked about it being cult kind of driven to the upside right there. You know, would love to get out more if we can ever get back into the $100 mark. I still think we can do that. You know, we were up to $94 just a couple days ago. I think these are great dip buy opportunities. So $83, $84. I don't know about dip buying opportunity. I'm not saying for the long term. I just think for intraday right here, this level, that's 84. So like we could almost bounced off there yesterday, held here, broke through, closed there. So yeah, 83.50 into, and we talked about this again a half hour ago. I think 83 would be your kill zone for me. So we break too much below this 83 and change, then we can get out. So right now I have bids at 84 and 83.50. So I'm not trying to buy this blowout top right now. Well, not that it's a blowout top, just that it's up 2%. So it's already up quite a lot considering where we are in the market, I feel. A lot of buys, though, today. This is no NASDAQ stocks. These are going to be all New York names. So the big one that I just saw there was BABA. This could be something that's interesting today again as well, as some of the Chinese names continue to break out a little bit off some of those lows that we just made a couple days ago. 3% up on Alibaba there. UBS is nice. Cliffs, eh? I mean, this is not a big amount for them.
No, that's
but that's up 2% as well. So, yeah, a couple things. Oh, there's HIMS. What's HIMS doing? $40 still. Okay, not bad. HIMS down 5% today, though. All right, let's go back over to the desk.
Let's talk about some of these. I mean, nice start right across the board. You guys mentioned Alibaba. I mean, all of them pretty much to the upside this morning. There's not a heck of a lot as far as a reason why. That's JD.com, 3.4% to the upside. Beijing reaffirming some support overnight as far as the economic side. Yep. Nothing we haven't heard in the past, but nice bounce once again.
Yeah, they came out, they reaffirmed their guidance for the full year, Brendo, fiscal stimulus as well. Let's talk about that. GDP growth target for 2025, now around 5%, guys, amidst escalating trade tensions with the U.S. The scene, they're targeting it, but they're saying it's going to require very arduous work. Now let's talk about the budget deficit that they're raising in order to meet this situation. So they're raising their budget deficit to 4% of GDP, the highest it's been since 2010. The previous high was 3.6% back in 2020, and they plan to issue about 1.3 trillion yuan in ultra long-term special treasury bonds. I don't know what ultra long-term, Brendo, but it sounds
ultra long.
Sounds long.
Yeah. Back to, I mean, a lot of these are back to the top end of the range or getting there anyways. Could be some resistance coming into play here, guys, for China.
Possibly. I mean, Baba's got, as you said, there's a nice range to be played off of with Baba. Some of the tops that you see, like there's just so many gaps, like out and about and above and below. So it isn't often that you get something like this in Baba where you have it sort of lining up there, and 135 looks like it's a big spot for a play. I do like this is just a dark pool wick. It doesn't trade down to 129 this morning. Sometimes you get those for like overnight. So if you see like an overnight low or just like a prior close, a lot of times you'll see dark pool prints down there. I don't think we see 129.5, but that's the other level to play off of. But the other, like the names that I think will trade off the open are going to be iBit, Palantir, Intel, Nvidia. Those are names on the list and on the watch. Baba, for me, is more of a, hey, if we're breaking out above 135 and I don't have anything that looks good, let's go over to Baba and try to join the trend. Or if we're playing down into 129 and nothing is looking any better, then go over to Alibaba. That'll be the play for China. Diddling in the middle for now, so not really looking to heavily trade this today.
Yeah, I mean, I like China. I think we can also look at FXI as a possibility there as well. But I do want everybody to make sure you do scan that QR code below there and unlock the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy, leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet. That's right, it's nuclear energy. Partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabascan Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. This undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear, and Foremost is your entry on the NASDAQ under FMST. Yeah, with Amazon, Google, we just saw in there, of course, as many, and by the way, on the CSE, FAT, go to foremostcleanenergy.com. But yeah, I actually have on my list today as well, SMR. We talked about uranium was really hot yesterday, so definitely a spot to look at there, FMST. But yeah, look, for FXI, just for China names, again, you know, something's going to have to power, you know, DeepSeek as well, and some of this AI that's been happening right there. FXI right now pretty leveled off here off the open. But again, I don't know. We heard, I mean, Brendan started the show saying that, you know, will these tariffs last a day, 2 days, 3 days? I don't know how long these things are going to last, but China doesn't seem to be too much worry here about this as this China 100 index continues to be near the top, right? I mean, we're talking about the NASDAQ at the 200 period right now. We're talking about the S&P 500, I think, broke the 50 period, right? So China's up. So I think you ride the wave. I think you buy the dips. I like buying 200 period moving averages on the 1 minute chart, especially off open. So if we do get something maybe to 35.60, 35.70 down there, to me, that would be a buy. So yeah, you could look at Alibaba to get some juice in you. And then also NIO. We always look at this name because like $4 just seems to be like, I don't know, just here. And it's like, if you can get, you know, moves down. So keep your eye on it. If it does move into the $4 mark, you know, we really haven't broke that since back summertime. So that looks like a decent spot there. And you never know with some of those numbers coming out of China. They could surprise you and NIO's up 10% or something one day. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk with 10 minutes before the bell.
In person. We were just reading about this Nvidia conference coming up again, March 17th to the 20th. The 20th specifically, they're going to have a quote-unquote quantum day, and they just released a whole list of companies. I didn't see any of them that were public, but they just released a whole list of quantum-focused companies that are going to participate in this quantum day, which will be the last day. March 20th, there'll be a live stream, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. or 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific time, Eastern time, but in Pacific time because we're out in San Francisco. But yeah, GTC 2025 coming up here at the end of March.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say about quantum because, you know, he kind of was single-handedly responsible for the,
poured some cold water on it.
Yeah, he did. 10 to 30 years is what he said there, more like 30 years. But Donald Trump also chimed in about the CHIPS, Brendo. So let's talk about what he had to say yesterday in his address to Congress. He called the CHIPS Act a horrible law. He advocating for repealing the CHIPS Act and saving the money there to reduce the national debt. He argues that the tax credits for semiconductor production are a waste of money, and he believes his tariff strategy would achieve the same goal. Just to refresh everybody's memory, the CHIPS Act has cost about $53 billion so far. It incentivizes companies like TSMC, Intel to build their foundries, their semiconductor chips in the United States. He does support onshoring of chip productions, but he disagrees with the methodology used in the CHIPS Act.
Might be more important for some other companies that we've mentioned numerous times around here, but Nvidia guys trying to hold on to some key levels here right now.
Well, yeah, the CHIPS Act story that's not an Nvidia thing. We were just sort of talking about it. Like when that conference happens, I think you guys know the drill. Like if any public company gets mentioned at the quantum conference, you're almost going to need like some kind of a bracket stop to try to execute because the algos will be all over that because something's going to go parabolic or something's going to flush, and you know there's going to be a lot of movement because when Jensen talks, when Nvidia talks, everyone listens. Nvidia, I think we need to clear 120 today to really, really get going. And unless that happens, I always look back to, hey, where did this thing turn around yesterday? And that was at $112. So you have afternoon 114. Like if we get this, we're still trending. I know we bounced a couple of candles on the NASDAQ. We're still kind of trending down. So you got 114, 112. that are the levels to look for to the downside there. And then maybe if we're breaking out that 120 on Nvidia. I suspect if that happens, Palantir is probably going ham in that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of obvious where the levels are going to be on Nvidia. And I mentioned if we do get a strong up day, AMD at the next resistance level is going to be a short for me. I don't think it's. Are we strong enough to get there today? Probably not.
Not like it.
But that's the one I'm going to be locked and loaded, ready for it. It's that trend line over and over and over again on AMD on the daily chart. So when it gets up to that top, I'm always looking to revert it. And then Intel 22 is the other one we're watching. Intel was like an 8% drop off the open yesterday. Like it was nasty. And like a great shorting opportunity, and it dropped off 22 in the afternoon again.
Yeah, we hit Intel great. We had that great long in the afternoon at 21.50 on Intel. So I have Intel right here as a big trade idea, $22 short there. I don't like the Trump talk about the CHIPS Act, but I'm still long Intel. It's just for today. I want to wait until more information on that. I don't think that, when he says that kind of stuff, sometimes you got to rethink, and like he talks about America first and all this stuff. So I think Intel will still be a play. So let's not necessarily go short the stock or anything like that on options. But I do think if you're looking for the weeklies or something, I could be under some pressure here. So I'm just going to play it back up into 22. I'm waiting at 21.80 to see about a short right there. Could be 21.65. Again, when we wrote the sticky note, down here at 8 o'clock earlier, it was 21.50, so there was a good chance that we did get up to the upside. We've fallen down 50 or 30 cents from there, so maybe we could bump back up that 30 cents. Just here again, 22, good tops. I think it's a real easy trade up there. Like, easy to understand why I like it, easy to understand why it could work. So that's that. And then here for Nvidia, it's on the sticky note as well today. Can't ignore that. This 115, this is it right here. We can draw a line. We still have 5 minutes to go. We'll look at the imbalances in a minute. But right there, stop, bounce, so we'll try that. Now, of course, we get down to 116. Instead of going down $1 and getting us long, it now pops up $1 here, up 1%. But we've played with Nvidia many times, every day. And every day. It's the greatest stock ever. It's the greatest stock ever. But no, Nvidia right there just catches a bid. So that's why it's going to the upside right now. We can't, you can't predict what's going to happen in these imbalances. There goes Palantir. I just thought I saw it, but we'll, there it is. Yeah. There, AT&T. So Palantir now starting to head up as well. 86.50 we just stopped out at. Baba's there. I saw Apple, Broadcom's on. Oh, Apple's a sell. Yes. All right, let's just do this right now because we didn't get to some of the fan funding and missed it. So thank you, Richard Tang, for becoming a new member with us here today. Vinu wants to know about Box. Yes, it's at a great level there, $30. We'll look at that in a minute. And Arsis FX, thank you so much again. Well, thank you to everybody for all becoming a member and everything. But thank you, Arsis, for 28 months of membership. So thank you so much for that one. We do really appreciate everything. But again, for Box, just looking at the chart again, we know they just had earnings, I think. Remember, or maybe it was D-Box. But anyways, just a huge move down here off the daily chart, but still not horrible. Falling right into the 200 period is what I was going to identify. That's been a level that I've really liked for a long time on many names. So if you still like the story behind Box, then I feel like it would be a buy because right into here you have $30 again. So holding on to your long now, I think it's in danger if we do break below 30 and lose this last support. But you do have that wick verified bottom at 29.30. So that's a level for you right there. But look, this gap, it could fall into $25. So I'd say be prepared for that. This market is right now trying to figure itself out. So I'm not sure. I do have Google, the other name that we didn't really talk about, right there, down to 170. That could be a bid. We picked this bid up yesterday. That's where the low was, right there off the close, and we were able to pick that up as well off that low. So that was a good trade for us at the end of the day. I wrote down 169 because we were at 170. So maybe 170 is a holding spot. But again, look at this, man. The market's kind of like this is a 40-cent spread. So you never know where you're going to get long, but I'm bidding down near 169. And then SMR, and then I'll give it back to Neil just for some of his early ideas. And then SMR right now, I wrote down $17. So that would be good if we can get that level, and then we'll give it to 1650, and we'll just wait to see what happens with SMR back into here. 200 period moving averages right here. Here's 16, where's 1650 right there. So not a bad little level that we should be able to support. So again, nice move yesterday on SMR. Let's see if it can hold it today up 2%.
So a lot of people have asked about Tesla. Actually, Tesla wasn't on my list of stocks I'm looking at the open, but it's a little bit relatively ho-hum today, like right in the afternoon range. So that's why I backed away from it. I think if you get the double bottom, that can work out. But I'd be much more interested in Tesla when it's squeezing, and that would be breaking out at 285. But it's not on the list today. There was a question in the chat about how long can imbalances stay imbalanced, opening imbalances until the open. For the NASDAQ, that's precisely at 9:30. For the New York, sometimes they don't open the stock right away. So the New York, I've seen it held for minutes, but usually it's within a few seconds after the open. They pair everything off wherever they can best do it, and that's where you get the opening print from. So we're looking at Palantir. Intel will be on the watch right away this morning. We'll see what happens about IBIT as well in that 89,000 level, which is about 50.5. I want to see it hold on to that. And it is Hump Day, Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun one today, that's for sure. So let's get the bell going here, because brought to you by Foremost Clean Energy. It's almost time to ring it here, Adara. Let's do it in 4, 3, 2, and
1. All
There you
right, Google. All right, so yeah, I'm just looking, making sure my notes are fine here. Watching out for Nvidia. I just put a bid at 160.
Already Intel?
Just because where it went right there. So yeah, I mean, I have my Intel offer. By your assumption there, I guess it's going down already.
Of course.
So there goes Intel, yeah, flushing. So we can play back to VWAP, 2140, 2150 now for this name as, yeah, it's starting to go down. The NASDAQ's fading out here. The NASDAQ's turning red. So look out now as this NASDAQ turns red. We may get some exciting moments here in names like Nvidia or in some of these other names. Got an eyelash right there. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and let's just continue to go. So a nice little pushback down there for the NASDAQ. And there it is, nice little regain. So it looks like Nvidia there, we were waiting for 116 for that local bottom. Doesn't hit, looks like 117 right there holding for that. And then the other big runner that can, every morning, oh, look at that, see? Can you take a look at that? Palantir right back into 84.50. Where am I even bidding on this name? 84.05.
Oh, I typed that.
So we just missed that. Maybe let's try a little bit of a dip buy there on Palantir then.
Yeah, I just typed NY for Palantir, so my chart's not going to load up. But I was going to
that's too bad.
I was going to go to the exact same stock to say more or less the same thing. That 84 level came in. Maybe it can come back. It's already at 85. It's Nvidia that looks right now like it's the strong one. Maybe just cancel. I'm canceling my bid at 114.5 on Nvidia. There's no dip at the open that's strong enough just yet. So maybe we can see this one trade and bounce off that 20 and give us some kind of pullback trade to work off there.
Oh, we got
in
Palantir.
NVDA. So nothing yet for me. Intel dropped right off the open, so there was, why am I still offering 21.90? That's useless at this point. Bounce off 21, I want to short the pop. Next available pop on Intel is a short.
Okay, so we do have a position right now. A starter position. So we have like a 1 unit spot. Okay, well, we'll get something out then for a quarter. We got something out. We got about 10% out there for a quarter. Here we go. We talked about trying to buy some Palantir on that dip. We wrote down 83.50 on our sticky notes. So there's no way, even though this could be a good price and we just took some profit. I'm not layering into this yet. Let's trust what we looked at before here with Palantir, and that was in and around here. We said 83 would sort of be the spot where we could say we're wrong, and we've seen this happen to us many times before on Palantir on big moves, especially off the open, and then it just gets bought back up. So let's be patient with it. My next bid is at 84.05s, so down there, and then we'll wait for that 83.50 area where we start to get a little bit longer on PLTR. Looks like Nvidia is also coming back in there.
Yeah, it's starting to really drop now. So Nvidia is going to come into the game here. I do think it's hitting that 116 level, so a little bit lower, and you're going to start playing into that close. Yeah, it's not the close price, but it's the close bottom at the 115, where if it's under 114, I'm not fighting it. As long as it's above 114, I'm willing to do the dip buy. Intel is just... Yeah, there's no big love on Intel to be able to get a pop so that we can short it. And then AMD, again, the other short idea, it's right at 100, so I'm not hitting a 100 short. That doesn't make any sense. PLTR is right at that 84 here. Now it's holding the 84 level. This is starting to look a little bit better. I'm going to get in for the first time here. I think at some point we'll go to Adara, but I don't think we're going to her just yet. Nvidia just hit 115.5, so it looks like that's also about to come in here. Position board might not be.
Oh no, position board.
Position board's not working. Let's reset that.
Okay,
let's go to Adara.
I have 3 positions.
Keep an eye here on Selection Therapeutics, SLXN. If you're looking for a small cap name, this one is on the move, announcing groundbreaking initial data apparently from their orthopic pancreatic cancer model studies. So SLXN with some study results. Also worth noting here, this name has run in the past and it has just under 1 million share float. So small float for a small cap mover, SLXN. Back to you.
All right. I guess Andre's going to get.
Okay,
is that position board fixed now or not yet? Okay, that should be. That should be. Let's make that priority 1 if we can do that, because that's what we need to be showing. We're long Palantir right now, 84.25. So that's going to be a price that we're long. We're also long Nvidia right now at 115.95. So we did pick up something there at the bottom for for Nvidia. If that's the bottom, I don't know. SMR as well. We're in. So we're in these 3 names right now. So that's something to look for here once that board gets fixed in just a couple of seconds. All right, so Palantir here. Here we go. We're going to try to get some out 85.50 and change on PLTR, but a nice upside push right now. Green so far here today on these 3 longs, but definitely a slippery slope.
Yeah, no question about that. I'm only in 2 of them. Let me just cancel some orders there on Intel because it's not going to get to that price. The new plan in Intel is to work off of this low here, 21.25, back into this local high. So it's trying to bounce right now. So we're going to try and grab that. We want to be short Intel today if there's any market weakness. Almost said AMD. Nvidia, that's bouncing off. I tried to add there as it came back through 115.5. I have 77s long, and we're looking to grab a little bit more. Palantir doing the same thing. And then there was, Amazon. Amazon, I like a 207 break on Amazon. Amazon just held the pre-market low, and I just realized I canceled my order. I'm just going to put that back in. I like a 207 break on Amazon. I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, but my order wasn't in. Now the order's in on Amazon. It's a couple of dollars away, so it's not like it's imminently coming in there. But if you see this breakout, I like an Amazon long trade. So the next time we take a fill, we should have the position board work.
No, I'm taking fills.
I just took one too.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get the position board up, but right now go over to Adara.
Keep an eye on Amgen here. You get a little bit of a move on this 3-minute chart off the open, announcing that they've started their late-stage study of their monthly obesity drug. So an obesity drug play here for AMGN. Also, just to remind you, 9:45, so in less than 10 minutes, we're going to be getting S&P Services and Composite PMI data. Then at 10 a.m., we're going to be getting some ISM data, factory orders data, and some revised core durable prints. So some economic data on watch, guys. Back to you.
All right.
I
so
just came in for me too.
Yeah, everything's coming in like hot right now for everything. So Palantir, we got to start looking at some stops. I mean, we're back in here into this 83 level. So we just took a bid down here and honestly looking to see about a drop down. We said if it breaks through $83, then we got to get out. So 82.75 or so. We'll buy a little bit down here. We're long. It's too bad. We are working on the board. It will get up in just a couple of seconds. So bear with us. For everybody watching for the first time, Neil and I's positions will load up here and you'll be able to see them momentarily. SMR comes into 16.50. So we're just long everything that we thought we would want to be long. And Palantir down here at 83, it's the level that we liked. And then Nvidia down here at 115. We were able to get something out there at 16.20s. So it's trying to battle back now as well. So I'm not all doom and gloom about anything right now. That is just a little bit of a move down. I mean, Nvidia, we were just at 116 again. So we're going to need to go. Like, I don't like the fact that we keep on bouncing off some of these tops. I'd like to see a continuation on some names because here comes the NASDAQ right back in again near lows. So definitely not something to hang our hat on some of these longs for now. But yeah, Palantir. So I'm still taking fills. So still not working out for the position board.
No, it's
but yeah, bear with us and we'll be on that. There goes Palantir. Yep.
I just stopped out of PLT. Well, okay, it wasn't just now, but I stopped out when we broke 84 there on Intel. Sorry, on Palantir. I have Intel on the brain because that's what I wanted short, so apologies there. And Nvidia just lost first support at 115.5, so I'm out of that one as well. We did get a bounce. We were able to cover some at the 116 level. Pretty much, I think probably exactly what Sean had said, but this market's falling. I just tried to grab Intel here at 21s and then start working off of VWAP. So if I can get a consolidation short on Intel, that should be the jam. I guess we'll nibble in the high 90s and see if we can't get a little piece of the party here. So now we'll see if we're going to hold up there. PLTR, I'm not saying it's going to get down there, but on the off chance, if you see Palantir get underneath $80, double bottom. If it falls like a rock, I'm going long down there on Palantir. Double bottom, yes, please. But it's not there yet, but we're halfway, and we didn't think it was that big of a possibility. I didn't think it was that big of a possibility. Got to be prepared for it if it does happen. So I just got 96s short on Intel. That'll be the first short of the day for me as the market heading to the downside.
Big time.
Although trying to make a little bit of a bounce here. At least Nvidia is trying to make a little bit of a bounce, I should say.
See, so we did it. We're going to go to there in a second, but we basically did it again there on Palantir, where we got hit when it broke through 83, and then it just rips right back up, and we're long again. Okay, yes, the position board is working, not completely right, but hopefully once I get out of SMR. So there goes Palantir. So the prices look right here. No, they don't. So I'm long at 83. All right, we'll figure this all out. Maybe one more reset there because the prices are a little bit off, but we're long Palantir and Nvidia right now. Nice battle back right now. So we've got about $1 on Palantir. It's too bad we got stopped out when we did, but that's trading. We talk about that all the time. Nvidia long, SMR long, Palantir long. 3 big longs right now trying to battle back for this market. Thank you, Mr. Randy there for that. And there goes Palantir again. More outs. Let's go. There goes Nvidia. Oh boy, we are hella green right now. Nice bounce right here on Palantir. Over $1 in the money on this one. What's up, eh? Wow, Palantir. Damn,
we have another small cap that's certainly to the upside here today, guys. It's Chromadex, CDXC. This one is about a $600 million market cap, 5% short float, 50 million share float. And here are the deets with this name. So basically, they had earnings last night, beating on GAAP earnings per share and sales. So small cap earnings play, CDXC, actually near day's highs, guys. And again, in about less than 5 minutes, we're going to be getting S&P data here for some of these PMIs. So stay tuned. I will give you that in about 5 minutes. Back to you.
What? Oh no, it's gone again.
Okay, that's me. They're trying to.
Okay, so I'm only in. I'm going to take
the
next
way
fill
off.
I get.
Oh, I'm not sure Palantir. Please do not send any hate mail at me. I am very hella long.
I am long
right now.
I am long
Palantir.
IBIT though. That's correct.
Yeah. I'm hella long. All right. Okay, good. Yeah, get rid of it now. No, we'll figure it. Thank you. Ramin's trying all. Yeah, let's switch the board and do everything.
Yeah, they're all on.
Over there. So
this is oddly enough my fault.
Shout out to Ramin again for trying the best on this, and we'll get it fixed in just a couple seconds. But look at Nvidia right now. $1.50 in the money on Nvidia. $2 in the money on Palantir. Day's goal. Hit. It's 9:40 right now. What a big day over here, Neil, as this continues to go, man. This is going to be obviously my best day of the month. It's only the 5th, but there it goes. Nice move up there for Nvidia. And guess what, man? It's all about Sticky Note Nation today because all of these levels, man, I mean, I should have looked at Google. I don't know. We didn't look at that yet, but we have to wait. We're SMR down there at 1650. That's where we're long. That's 60 cents in the money. Nvidia 115 long. That's $1.50 in the money. Palantir long, $83.50, $84. Right now, that is $2.50 in the money. So we're starting to go. Oh boy, Neil, now Palantir's at 85 and change. So we got stopped out at the bottom. And we just bought right back in, man. And there it goes. This happens to us all the time on Palantir, but now we go hella green on the name, thankfully, as we're holding a decent spot of this one. So $2.50 in the money on Palantir and $2 in the money or $1.75 in the money now on Nvidia. So there we go, man. We strike again on what a big day this has been here. So let's go. There's the board. Neil's got IBIT.
It is now correct. I'm into IBIT. It just broke that VWAP in there. For me,
Wow, man.
Palantir broke. Once it broke 84, I wanted to see that down at the 80 level, so we weren't able to grab that. We like Amazon, and it's trying to break out the top, but I don't think I'm going to wait for 207 on Amazon. I'm going to look for this one to hold above 205 and see if we don't join that party right then and there. So Amazon could be the next possible trade for me. I don't mind getting back into Nvidia. Actually, I did try to get it back on the way through. I had it on the way down. It broke. I punched the same level we liked before at 115.5, but didn't get the fill. So if it comes back, I'm just going to leave the order in. If we pick it up, if we hold VWAP, then I want to join it to the upside. So really just in IBIT right now, and Amazon is going to break out any second now through the local high. That'll be 205.40 on Amazon. This was just a bounce off the 200-period moving average on the daily and trend continuation.
Oh boy. All right, so this is what SMR looks like off of the sticky note, 1650, we wrote down 17 to 1650 is what we wrote down on the sticky note. So we sit there and take our trade, and now we're starting to get out on a nice little upside move right there. Palantir, man, right back up to the 50-period moving average. Of course, we're going to dump that out as we do get a nice rebound here in the NASDAQ. So we're going to get out of, again, we still have 40% of this trade as it continues to march higher and higher and higher. And then Nvidia, very, very similar. Wow, Nvidia's even, okay, this is starting to get exciting now. Over 117, we're long at 115. So there it is, man. It's a $2. Joe, man. 1-2 there for Nvidia, 1-2 there for Palantir, and then SMR just hanging out with, we don't have a $50 club, but that's happening right now. But hey, man, we're not resting. Like, we just got out of some Nvidia there. Remember, like we said this yesterday, the right trading idea might be to scalp out. And, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to hold for the home runs, which I think that, we're I don't know if what the right who's going to lead the league in the home runs this year, but Anthony Santander, yeah, most recent Blue Jay, of course.
Aaron Judge, obviously.
Aaron Judge, yeah. Oh, is it going to be okay?
It's always Aaron Judge.
Okay, that's the
answer to the question.
Yeah, so I was going to say, you can hit home runs, but then you can also strike out. So that's, you get the big swings. Sometimes in a market like this, worth holding on for those big swings, but also, man, hitting doubles back and forth, things like that will definitely work out. So pay attention to that one. All right, we are going over to Adara for a number.
945.
With these numbers here, higher than expected S&P Services PMI and composite here for the month of February. 51 for S&P Services PMI versus 49.7 expected. 51.6 here for the composite PMI, above estimates of 50.4. And if you look at this market here, let's see what kind of reaction we have. Not too much, still kind of rejecting this area after this pop to the upside, but that 497 certainly serving some resistance for the NASDAQ. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 before we send it back off here. S&P 500 looking pretty similar. Again, worth noting, this is not the only economic data of the day because we do have some prints coming through at 10 a.m. ISM Services PMI is the biggest print here. We'll also get U.S. factory orders at the same time, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Adara.
Why no grr, Arthur Grasso says. I promise you this much. I can't promise for Sharif. Sharif will be on grr today. That was his stock. I love Invader Zim, but I'm not trading that one. We're back into Intel.
He will try his best.
So that came right. He said Sharif just said he'll try his best to look at grr. I'll get there in a second. I just want to maybe get through the names that we're trading this morning. So a bit of a pop. It did not break the pre-market low. I wicked out. It's a bad entry on a stop. The stop should be at 21.20. It's there now, but I'm back with VWAP on the short. Want to be building into this one under 21.20. The actual short was supposed to be at $22, but look, Intel's not getting to $22 unless it moves 5% up. So you got to be able to move the posts at least a little bit. AMD was the other one I was looking for a pop and fade. That's nowhere near resistance either. Going to be a little bit more patient when it comes to AMD and Amazon. All right, so Amazon, no break. Okay, Amazon's headed right back, it looks like, toward the low. So if I like the long on Amazon, I might be waiting for it to retest the dip buy. No breakout there. It was very close to the breakout for Amazon. No breakout. Looks like it's pulling right back in. IBIT, it's 80. It's not 89 even. It's like 88.7 or something along those lines. It's always hard to tell on Bitcoin with regards to IBIT when that bottom gets put in. It's actually lower than that. It's probably like 88, 87.9 or something like that is the low. But it's 50.25 on IBIT. Going to look for a reload out in front of that to continue the long. Kind of hoping it's not going to be a complete short day.
Market losing some steam here. All right, we'll see what's up there.
I missed the rest of Intel here.
Maybe there's something going on.
Let's go to Adara again.
It's worth keeping an eye on Google here, Alphabet, YouTube, which is, of course, a Google or Alphabet subsidiary here, launching a $7.99 per month premium light subscription tier in the US. So now this new paid tier is $6 less than the premium tier. It does remove ads from everything except for music. So YouTube here with a new subscriber tier. Sometimes these type of things can be on watch, so keep an eye on GOOGL. Back to you.
Actually, I've considered paying for.
Yeah, I mean, my kids watch enough YouTube. It might be worth paying for that. I'm not going to panic on any of those moves. I don't think that's a major deal, but it's a good news for Google shareholders. I mean, you're lowering the price. You want to get more people into your subscription base, and maybe that's a way of doing that. So, yeah. Look, the more analytics they have, the more they can use AI to figure out, where their best path is to revenue. Are people watching these ads? How much can they get off of them? Are they directed ads properly? I mean, I think we're going in the right spot. So I'll take that for what it's worth, and say that's probably a good thing for Google. But we'll wait. I mean, it's a shift in subscription pricing. So, all right, underneath VWAP, we just took some more out there of Palantir. Like I said, these are names right now, and that's why I use that home run analogy. Like, go there, hit the home runs, get them out, try to hit your spots, but don't be married to anything right now. And if you can, round second base, then you maybe start to do a little bit of that, because, wait for that next little area to start to either dip by or reload into some shorts. If you were short, if you were feeling short today, you had a great opportunity, 200 period right there on Nvidia. So of course, we're going to unload. You could go short at VWAP. We're unloading our longs there. Look at all of these outs that we had up here on Nvidia. Right? So now when it comes back in, we're able to sit here and wait and be a little more patient and figure out what exact prices we're looking at, and do we still like the long. So a little bit of a regroup. For me here on, if we break 114.50 or so, then we're going to be out of this. We will buy some more dips into 115, but let's be patient and not get caught in the middle. You start buying stuff in the middle here, it just becomes a little bit,
dicey.
Yeah, because you are going to test the bottom most likely, and you could get back up to the top. So I think it's worth it if you're bullish here or bearish, take a small piece. But we're right stuck in the middle here. So here comes a little bit of a flush down again. There's the NASDAQ looking to touch day's low.
Yeah, so just very quickly, Intel bounced off yesterday's low pretty decently there. 2075 is the low, 2076 doesn't really matter. That's the current bounce. Look, VWAP I don't care about VWAP so much too early. I'm still going to work off the prior low here at 2120 is going to be where I want to get short. So it has to be above 21 for a reload. Otherwise, I'm going to back off. I said I was going to wait for Nvidia to retest the low of the day to try to get back in. We're trending down toward it. I think there's a decent chance that's going to happen. Amazon, yeah, not looking as strong as it did before. At this point, if we're going to retest the lows, it's going to be reloading either iBid and Nvidia, the ones that we're already trading. So Amazon will have to wait. If we show a little more strength, maybe I do eventually get into an Amazon long, but I'm not feeling it right now. I don't want to be bottom picking too many stocks. Just try to focus on one or two is the best way to go there. So Nvidia looking like the 115 half is going to hold here. So that's looking pretty good. iBid reload at 50-50. Like 88 something, it's now back above 89. Resistance at 90,000 on iBit, so I'm taking profit every time it tries to test that level. So if we can bust through 90,000, that'll look great.
So SMR is fine. I'm looking at my net. We're down a little bit, obviously, from the highs because we still do have a position. We do have parts of our positions. We have about 25 to 30% of all of those that are still on board right now. Nvidia, I have 3 longs. Nvidia. Does it show 4 there? Nvidia, SMR, Palantir. No, that's right. So, all right, this came back in. Now, we were lucky enough to get some out at VWAP up here at 1720. If we can get that again, great. We just offered where it stopped, 1705. So if SMR can get, we're at 1708. So right there, if we can get a little bit of a bump up on that, we'll start to exit more of this position. As, again, down on the day, if the market turns even to the downside more, we could get a nice flush there on SMR. So let's take some profit out. Okay, here we go. Palantir, there it is, man. It's a VWAP trade right there. Okay, now we're right back to basically where we were at our high spot today. There goes Palantir back up to the upside. We did not dip by. Maybe bad advice, man. I said let's not take anything in the middle, but let's be patient for a move up. So there goes Palantir upside. That's $2 in the money. There goes Nvidia again, 116.50. So we're going to go 3 for 3 here today on what I consider good size, good shares, good opportunities. Took advantage of that dip down, got stopped out on Palantir, bought it back, believed in that level. I mean, we believed in 83.50, so we were going to go long there anyways, lucky enough to get much better price. All right, Palantir 2 and change. SMR, ring the Reggie on that one as that's starting to go back up to the upside. So it's a big day over here again. We finished yesterday with a big day. We're starting one off again right now, but it's only 9.53. So what about if this market actually gets green, right? I mean, you're flat to right now. If you test VWAP, then oh boy, I'm not even sure what these positions are going to look like in 10 minutes. So let's still hold on. We're about 25% of all of them, and we're near the highs of the day in many of them. So let's wait to see, or sorry, at least that VWAP right there. More outs on Nvidia. Stay patient, stay diligent right there. I see you got that Intel short.
Intel's not, it's trying to bounce off the lows, but it's not doing a very good job. Bitcoin, it's above 89,000. We keep resisting VWAP in here, so we're scalping out in front of VWAP. But CrowdStrike just broke 350. Sorry, check that. CrowdStrike just tagged 345. So it is now very, very close. It's SSR. It's down 11%. This is that support level we said it was unlikely to get there on Crowd. Down at 340. Once it gets down to 340, I'm looking for any mean reversion trade, and I'm willing to take 3 swings at a mean reversion on CrowdStrike today as an SSR play in front of the 200-period moving average. So that's getting very close. If you see me pop into CrowdStrike, it's because it broke the prior low, well, whatever the low is right now, goes down at least to close enough to the 340, breaks the trend, and then I look for a long and give it to the bottom. So CrowdStrike down 11%. We're used to seeing this stock bounce when it does this on earnings. So I'm going to patiently wait for the opportunity there. It's not often you get a stock like that down. So like I said, Intel got out the first time, back in. It's at the lows. I want to be able to short the next pop. There just hasn't been a pop to be shorted yet. I feel like the next trade is lining up to be CrowdStrike instead of a reload of one of these two, the way that this is starting to come back in here. So, alert to Crowd. I'm not buying it here. Has to be a trend break. It's, I don't want to say falling like a knife, but it's down 11%.
Okay. I'm not super, like I said, man, we'll run the gauntlet today pretty good so far. But, managing it, we just took a bunch more out on Palantir. This market is not giving me long vibes. So I'm starting to exit stage left pretty much on everything right now. So Palantir, more outs if we can get them. So we have 20% now. So we only exited out about 5 to 10% of all these positions just recently. So I still like it. We have durables number coming out here at 10 o'clock. Factory orders coming out at 10 o'clock. But anyways, just to tell you, we're starting to get out. We don't have the best prices on Nvidia. Unfortunately, we do have a lot out on VWAP, and we do have 20% left of the Nvidia and of Palantir and of SMR, but we exited for sure. So far, so good on this play. 1520, 1525 coming into play there for Nvidia again. Not in love with many of these names anymore. I'm going to put out another, I'm going to get into now. There we go. Let's get out. Okay, so there it is. We take another out there on Palantir, up at 84. Where did we just get that fill? 84 actually. There. So right where we are. Starting to get a lot lighter. I'll test Nvidia down here at 115, and that's about it. 115 flat. Give it 50 cents. If it holds, great. If not, we're gonzo on that one. So yeah, man. So far, so good here today. Like I said, it's been a good day. Just needed to get better. That's all. Yeah, we just took a fresh low. Well, local bottom on IBIT just came out, so we broke that 50-40. We've been long at 48 and 51. That's now broken. All right, fresh low on CrowdStrike as well. That continues to go lower, so no break. That was real close to breaking out of the trend, but it's going to continue to hold on the trend, at least for now. It's going to take some kind of a real bounce to get it going a little bit more. Just lost the local bottom on IBIT. Now you're looking at 50-20. If we can bounce off there, we'll continue to look for that support. It's still in the pocket of the top end of yesterday's range. Remember that 50 level that we're trading off of into the high. So we're still in that pocket. Just have to let it get to the absolute bottom. Is Nvidia going to hold 115? No. So Nvidia just did the over-under, but then it came back under.
If it gets, if it holds 15, I want to be back into it. It's that or CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike, it's going to be probably a quick entry point, because if CrowdStrike starts to bounce, I feel like it could be a little bit, it'll be a pretty hefty spike usually on a name like this, so I want to make sure that I'm ready if it does break this trend, because it's just riding it to the downside. Market just went 0.6 down on the NASDAQ. The ES just broke the low 0.3, so we are headed lower. No reload, just cancel my offer on Intel. I mean, Intel's not going to go up 2% that fast, so I might have to get something a little bit of a lower high on Intel. Go. That's what's happening here on INTC.
All right, so we did our play again, and it's starting to work out just a little bit right now, but let's wait to see if it does kick into action. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Nice move here for Nvidia. So there's our 114.50 hold, man. I mean, this is what we said, man. We told you what we're here to do, man. And so let's go. There's Nvidia. Let's see if that works out. Here's Google as well. But oh boy, now we've got some trades happening live for you again one more time as we're in 4 positions and they're all bangers right now to the upside. Palantir, nice little take there as well. But it's Nvidia, it's Google. Neil, there's another 70 cents. We're gonna go 4 for 4 right now today, and hopefully it can hold out for us. There goes Nvidia. Wow, we are now at the high spot that we've been at all day right now. Great trade there off the bottom. I hope you're able to pick something up. Good, you got Nvidia as well. So nice move down there. We're long at 114.80 now on Nvidia as we just continue to run this gauntlet northbound now as Palantir trying to kick it up. And Google, what a great find that was, guys, down there. We talked about where we were offering or bidding that name. As there it goes, Neil. We are now 1.5 times the day rate there as we were able to be patient, pick up our levels. And I mean, we started this sticky note today, not just with words of encouragement, but we also mentioned down here on our note, which is right here, that we would try to be very, very patient. So we talked about that way, waiting for our levels, and we did that. We did that in spades right now. So big time trading. I hope everything's going good for you guys. But Palantir now $2 right back there to the upside. Let's go, Adara.
Coming through here. We are just waiting on some ISM and factory orders data here in about 20 seconds. So ISM for the PMI, we're looking for 52.5 as the forecast. Previous print here was 52.8. Factory orders month over month, 1.7% was the forecast versus the previous of negative 0.9%. Other numbers include some revised core durable goods and durable goods numbers. But again, ISM PMI, probably the chief number here, higher than expected. 53.5 versus 52.5 expected. Factory orders month over month exactly in line with expectations here, 1.7% versus 1.7% expected. ISM services employment, prices paid, new orders, all above expectations. Core durable goods exactly flat here, and durable goods revised 3.2% versus 3.1 expected. So most of these numbers slightly higher than expectations. Those that weren't were flat. Look at the NASDAQ. You're breaking above that previous level of resistance at, what is this, this 497 level for the Q.
All right, guys, wow, we are cooking it up. Thank you, Adara. We hadn't seen a number like that in a minute. Look at Google. There it is, man. Google right now, $2 in the money. Nvidia, $2 in the money. Palantir, $3 in the money. Neil, what's good?
We just grabbed $1.50 on Nvidia, but I'm out. I was on the offer when this number came out. It filled that instantly. Like, you were just sitting there, and it just picked us up at 116.5. The other thing that happened, I was sitting on the offer of Intel, and I got that fill right back. This is how big the spike was right away. So I'm covering this one at VWAP because that was a hefty spike. Obviously, CrowdStrike, I said break before the number came out. It broke when the number came out. So I missed that trade because it went straight up to 349 when I was trying to get 346. So the only thing we did is get out of Nvidia 116.5. of the long and then back into a short on Intel there at 21.05, which is exactly where we had it before, as that one's trending right back into that low. So yeah, crazy. We haven't had a number like that, as Sean said. I haven't seen quote levitation on an economic number in a hot minute. I want to respect the strength of that, see if we can't get another leg out, because if the market's turned here, I don't want to get trapped just because a short's been working. If the market takes out the top, you don't want to get trapped on a day like today. Oh, and Amazon broke, but right back under the high. I was never going to take a breakout on an economic number. So I backed away from the Amazon break, but I still like the long here AMZN.
All right. In 10 minutes there, we made 3 daily goals. So that's the trading. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for those big explosive moves to happen. And again, that's why we preach everything that we do. We preach risk management because you don't want to get caught the other way. You want to be able to be in a name, take advantage of it when it works out for you, and then get out of Dodge when it doesn't, right? So, I mean, that was quite the move there. And we, like I said right there, just did really well in a very short period of time. You know, that was before the number. Like, we are just playing off the levels that we had predetermined already. You know, we were nervous coming in, obviously, as this was falling back in, and we can't ever control economic numbers or anything like that. So you have no idea, but you play off your levels, you have your stop. Like this order here at 14, like where am I long in Nvidia? 1470. The stop is 1450. So 20 cents worth of a stop for $2+. We actually got $2.50 on it, right? So it's like when it works out for you, it works out for you. And that's, yeah, I know you guys want more excitement, right? I know. But that's, you know, we're just getting excited because, again, we're going to go 4 for 4. It's you know, my biggest day in a while. So, of course, it's going to be worth celebrating on my end here. And we're just going to do that and, you know, hopefully be able to ride this a little bit higher. And we even said it before, like, forget about the numbers coming out. I was like, if this market can ever get to VWAP, then oh boy. You know, and we were already long waiting for that sort of to fill out, right? And that's exactly what does wind up happening. So, yeah, really happy with some of those moves. And we're just starting to get out more. Like, if we can get out some Google here, there it is. So we just get out more at VWAP. And then now let's just try to hold. The biggest position that I have on board right now is Nvidia. So let's let this continue to go higher, man. I mean, who knows where we can get today? I mean, we're not even at the 200 period yet. That's 117, but we're getting pretty close to that one right here, Neil. So, yeah, I don't, again, big day, and I just hope that everyone's enjoying it. Take a look at the sticky note. We put these out every single day completely for free. It's our most clicked on, it's our most viewed social media post. So make sure you go check it out, have some fun with it, and let me know what you think. Put the comments below.
That's what it's all about for sure. And let me just cancel CrowdStrike. That's not coming back in again. Yeah, I might have missed the one. I feel like that was the one for me on Crowd that we just missed that break. If it gets to VWAP, I'm not going to chase it up there. I'm also not going to reload Intel. We were able to get that other fill down at like 2088. This one's still working to the downside, but I feel like the market just gave you a shift on the number. So that local high is now the out. I'm no longer giving it to 2120 like we were before. It's just going to be to 2110. If it can hold under that, then we stick with the short. Amazon, we still want to grab that long off of VWAP. I don't want to wait for it to get to 207. But with that shift, going back over to the Amazon longs, was never catching a falling knife on the stock. Going to look for the higher lows. IBIT, still in a downward trend, and I want to long something that's in an upward trend here on IBIT. Once it resumes an upward trend, then I'll jump back into it. But Amazon's already on a trend, breaking out the highs. Like, not everything's breaking top. NASDAQ hasn't broken the top. Well, it's trying to. The ES is right at the top, but Amazon's broken its morning range high. So I'm preferring that as we come in for the next available dip buy. I saw someone just say Mara, wow. I hope so.
Boom.
Because I want to get back into IBIT. If Mara's good, then Bitcoin should resume its upward trend. It's still putting in lower highs on Bitcoin. That's IBIT right here. So I don't want to go back in at the same level until it shows me some strength.
Okay. Yeah, still these 4 positions. I mean, all I can really do is talk about some of the percentages that we have on these. We still have 30% of our SMR. It didn't really go anywhere, so I'm just getting out of it. So now we have 25, we just got filled right there. So now we have 25% at 17s. I do have another offer on SMR up here at 1711s. I think I got to change that now. The 50 period would be good enough, 1705, but we'll still wait, man. Let's see if it breaks through 17 and goes. Like, I mean, we pass it back over here, and it's just like, thank you for everybody in the chat, you know, that's here today watching some of these plays. Like, Palantir right now, Neil, is $4 in the money. Like, this is like, it matters. Like, when you make these plays and, you know, you have days like this, like I said, like a 3x day, then it makes up for, you know, yesterday maybe being a slower day, which it was. I mean, yesterday was a good day. But it's like these kind of days is where you need to be in the game. You need to be playing these games on days like today. And again, like when you're short, we've seen in the chat, like a guy like Kyle Burdett will come on when it's short and be like, we're making money, you know? And it's like, that's the way, like, let's go. That's just what you got to do. And today we were favoring longs. We have every single idea on here is a long. You know, we have the Intel short 22, but as Neil mentioned, he's working with 21s. It's not near my level.
If it gets to 22, the market's gone 2% today, in my opinion.
Almost 3.5 times day right now as we're at the highest spot we've ever been there today. Palantir, $4. Nvidia, $2. Google, $2. SMR, 35 cents. It's a 4 for 4 day. What's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on AVAV, AeroVironment. This one is at day's highs. It is worth noting, though, it's still down about 5% on the day. They had earnings last night, missing across the board. Just some background on this company. It's about a $3 billion market cap, but the float is only about 27 million shares, 11% short float. So significant short float for day one earnings play. AVAV, back to you.
Thank you, Adara. So there's a seller at 117 now on Nvidia, which is kind of holding it from, making the next breakout, I do think. So whether or not, if it breaks out here, great. I think joining it might have to be a little bit higher. I still want to hold out, hope that we get the 115s back. I got out, like I said, I got out on that economic number when it came through. It was either going to be VWAP or 115 until the 117 goes. Amazon just looking up, that's getting real close to that 207 and a potential breakout. And IBIT. So here comes IBIT. Finally starting to look a little better. There's your higher low after the bottoming tail wick. So the 50-50 is going to be back into play for me on Bitcoin. Whatever, it's like 88.8 or some nonsense like that. But it's the 50-50 level, the prior high. That's been holding on IBIT. So I'd like to be able to get back into Nvidia. Don't know that I want to go off 116 just yet because of the 117 seller. I did not reload Intel. I wanted the number to calm things down. If it holds underneath VWAP and can continue to go lower highs, then I can work back into the short. But that was a pretty hefty market turn. I didn't want to short into it. I got filled on that number. Like Intel was down here at 76 when that number came out, and then just spiked up like 1.5% to get you filled. So I don't want to be fighting it too much. Was that a call for Adara again? No. Oh, okay. Back to Sean.
All right, it is Real Trading Campus time. Make sure you do scan that QR code below because this is back on. It's your opportunity right now. If you have to live outside, I'm just reading the promo right now. I wanted to see what the details were. Outside the United States, it can apply. So if you're outside the United States, you can apply. We trade U.S. equities during regular market hours. This program is carefully designed to help you master market microstructure, which we talked a little bit about today, different marketplaces and venues, order types, professional execution versus retail and amateur approaches. So join us all here. It's a software that we use live on Trader TV Live. Space is limited. Make sure you do sign up right now. March 24th is your deadline to apply for this. Space is limited. You progress through the program. Go find out the program structure right now. Scan that QR code. All the details are there. It's, again, a very highly curated program giving you exactly what you need, designing it for you, all through it. Go find out more information. You have to be outside the United States to enjoy this program. Minimum of 8 hours of trading per week. Go over to the website, get all the details. Make sure you do submit your interest and let them know that you've heard that live from Trader TV. It will increase your chances, or maybe not, but it would.
The key
would help to say it,
as you said. The only cost is your time.
Right.
That's the only cost. And if you're not willing to put time in, then you're probably not into trading anyways, right? So at the end of the day, it's a great opportunity. You get to trade on the platform that we're on here. Access to the imbalance locator, everybody. So Amazon pulled back into the prior high. Just had to wait. The market, while screaming to the upside in a certain sense, did a pullback off of 206 half. I still like a 207 breakout on Amazon. I just hope it doesn't happen at 11 o'clock because I don't take breakouts past that time. I want it to happen before 10:30. But we got the dip into prior high. We're going to give it to the prior bar low on the 3-minute, which is the quarters. IBIT came in. So as strong as that just was, breaking out and coming back in, IBIT just came in here. Let me just get let me get an order out there. I'm trading that CMRX, and I just got filled. IBIT just came in and out, was able to get 50-50 to 60s, and then it broke the local bottom. So I jumped out of that trade right quick. I did not get the reload on Intel, and Intel started dropping. So missed opportunity there as I was getting dip buy on Amazon. It's kind of weird. When you're getting a dip buy in one stock, I'm not expecting to get short the other one because it's pulling back. But yeah, so missed the opportunity there a little bit on Intel to grab that short. But we're long Amazon, want to look to it into 207. It's an out in front of 207, and then look for a breakout long. Intel looks like it's going to be a good short, 21 to 21.10. It was this or Amazon to the short side, and AMD to the short side, and that's pretty much been it. And AMD's not doing anything, still a bit of an inside range, so kind of glad that we're not trading AMD. Intel's moving, Amazon's now moving. Hopefully the market will go, because I feel like if the market takes out the top, any Mag 7 name will look good, and we can cover this out in front of the 207 high.
Yeah, if the NASDAQ takes out the top. Oh, boy. All right, so I'm just going to start to get out a little bit more at some of these levels. Again, it's only 10:15. We're going to look for some more trades. But at the same time, we don't want some of the ones that we have in, even though now, on Google, we are under 10%, looking to fill up the rest right now on Google. Just swig of coffee there, but it was too cold. Already had like a coffee and a half, but like this one's only halfway done, and it just gets so freezing on this desk.
I have the heater from Obi, but then I don't know. Like I don't know how I have so many things plugged in.
Yeah,
and so I can't use it.
Okay, yeah, I don't even have room to have my heater in there either. But thanks, Obi, for that. 116.50 there. Out some more of Nvidia. So just again, we can see we still have, we still have some unrealized profits here, right? So I don't want to look this one too hard, and worry too much about it, but the market is pulling back. We just said that we could get like a high, then a low, and that's what happened, right? I mean, we got to that low again, we got to the high, we dealt with VWAP, we started to go into 20,500, came right back in. Those are some of those pre-market highs again from 6 a.m. So yeah, now the market just hangs out. Other than some of those numbers that came through there, one good, one bad there, 9:45 sent the market to the downside, 10 o'clock sent it to the upside. So there's 9:45, whoosh, there's 10 o'clock, whoosh. So you kind of land in the middle, right? This is where the market opened up, flat. So not much going on from what I can see right here. So yeah, trying to be patient a little bit and let the market come to us and see if there's a trade that sort of shows its face. But for right now, just trying to hold on to some of these longs and, try to survive here as we go. But,
absolutely. So yeah, like you just said, there was just a wick on Amazon that was this candle wick was wild, but it was the same range we were already in. Like it retested the bottom, it retested the top on a 3-minute with nothing happening. So if I see it, it's a bit of a rejection candle if you look at where the wick is. But if it closes above that prior low, I'm going to load back into this one and reload the trade if we can get it. When Nvidia broke VWAP there, I was like, okay, it's going to be a 115 trade again, but you can see that didn't do anything. It broke VWAP and held 116 and is trying to come back in higher. So I still want to see if we can grab that one to the upside. But when it's under VWAP, we'll wait for the 115. So Amazon, if it can't hold 205.25, we'll jump out of it, look for another trade. Intel, we might have missed our one shot. At that reload at 21s just there. That's headed back into the lows. We're just going to hold on to this, wait for any pop back into 21 even to grab the short trade on Intel. I'm going to give another look at AMD here because I want something else short. But then being short 2 chip names isn't right. Got to find something better than another chip name to the south side. Going to look for some relative weakness because if we fail this top too many times, I want a stock that I want the other direction too.
If there's anything anybody wants, I'm waiting for the chat to see if there's anything anybody wants us to look at. We will definitely do that. A name that hasn't been on the radar at all today for either of us. I haven't heard this name once. Tesla. And yeah, it's been on every single, you can go back on every single one of my sticky notes, I feel like, for the past month, honestly. And today, not even in consideration. And I don't know, there wasn't much going on. And I think it's probably right not to look at it for right now as it's been flat. But again, good moves there. The bottom's been that 268, the top 278. So it does travel that $10. And look what comes into play again. Kind of these pre-market highs and then around 277. I remember yesterday we took that 278 and got stopped out before it tanked. So that's a very, very similar play to what we've seen yesterday. And then the pre-market bottoms didn't really hold there today, 270. It does break it down into about 250 against you. But again, looking red, right? Despite the market being, is the market still up or just turning red now? Tesla starting to go, right? Nice little downside move here, coming back into that bottom. So just a quick look at some of these trades. Here comes Nvidia right back in again. Should we reload it? Let's try to be patient again with a better spot down low. We talked about it, man. We're under 15% of everything right now. So we were able to get SMR out. I mean, we talked about sitting at 17.11. Like, how good of an out was that right now, right? So this is what you got to do. We said about, you know, surviving and making sure that you take profits when you see profits, and that's what we've done here today. So big time advantage of that, really responsible share management and everything today. So really happy with what we're doing. We're basically not giving anything back. If anything, we're giving back like maybe 7 or 8% of our day, and that's because we're able to have gotten out of a decent amount of this. So I'm going to take one more offer here on Palantir, most likely. Let's see what happens with Nvidia, though. Trying to dip by here around 115 and change.
Yeah, it's getting close. I mean, I think
don't know, maybe 115.05.
Yeah, it's 115 half, so it's halfway there to the 115. It wasn't 115 is not the low. It's like 114.60. So I think you got to let it drift a little bit further back before jumping into it. Amazon's come right back in here. The crazy thing is, I'm going to show you the NASDAQ chart a quick little second after I discuss Amazon. So wicked out and back in. And right back to the prior low on AMZN. Want to give it a few shots in here. Amazon was just the one that I liked the best for a reversal on the daily chart. So it's the one I want to try to stick with the long as there's some higher lows and it holds out the top of the range. But if we lose VWAP, we jump out of the trade. It's the NASDAQ that's riding VWAP that I feel like if we close a bar above VWAP on the NASDAQ, then I'm going to like longs in just about everything that's going to be big cap tech related. But we keep resisting it down in here. And I was looking over what am I going to short, and I couldn't come up with anything better than AMD.
Yeah.
And Nvidia. Sorry, and Intel, which we're already in. AMD just lost the 100 level. It's got big resistance at 102, so I don't know why I'm resisting it. I think it's just because it's a chip thing. But AMD, if we get any kind of a pop, the next time we get up there, if we just keep failing lower highs, I'm going to jump into an AMD short in addition to Intel. As long as we're underneath that VWAP on the NASDAQ, then I want something else that I'm looking for the short side of the trade. AMD is about as, I mean, it's as weak as anything else. The market's flat and it's down 1%, so you can't argue and cry about the fact that it's, oh, I'm not going to short it because it's relatively strong. No, the stock is weak today. So if we get another pop back up, we'll look to short some advanced micro devices. Mimi Petros, oh yeah, Rigetti. Good look. Rigetti, they report after the bell tonight. I'm expecting some fireworks with Rigetti. Well, I think everyone's expecting some fireworks with Rigetti. It'll be more exciting. Yeah, it's not breaking out. Okay.
Here goes Nvidia.
If we break, yeah, this was one where, like, if it was breaking out, I wanted to try and join it a little bit later in the day just in case it went squeezing. But Rigetti's not doing a heck of a lot. I thought when you were bringing it up that maybe this one was going. So it's 830 that's the key. That was yesterday's high on Rigetti. I think if it takes that out, spicy.
All right, so we're able to reload. I mean, there's Nvidia. Wow, we'll take 30 cents. We got some 20s in our blotter there. It just went up into 50s, and we took some out. I think we had our best position. Now it's coming back in. Yeah, 53 was our best out. So nothing to write home about, but just that we are reloaded down there in and around this area. We're looking for a little bit lower, though, into 115 to see if we can get some shares on this name as the market's pulling right back in. And whenever it does this, I always think that we're just going to test the bottom again. So why not wait, right? Like, if you're going to play the middle, play small, take out small, like just in and out, try to hold a core piece if you still like the trade. That way, when it does bounce back up, you have something on, but maybe scalp back and forth to withstand a potential move down. So that's what we're doing right now. We talked about being light on everything. SMR. Okay, so we have, again, 10% of SMR. This is the one position that we have the most, not the most of, but the most, like, percentage-wise of. We didn't take that many shares on this name, but 1650, if we break that, we're going to get out. So that's been the low of the day here for SMR. So 1648, we'll mark it. There it is. So we'll just market it out immediately. So that's it. So we'll fail on our last 10% of SMR, but, you know, trust me when I tell you, it's obviously a green stock there today. Like, when you're going to lose on the last piece of this, you know, 15 cents, but make this, then you're fine. So we'll wait to see what happens on SMR, but everything else trying to come back in a little bit there. We did get some more Nvidia here, but waiting for a better price on Nvidia. Be patient as this market is really coming in now pretty nicely. Yeah,
here's that low. Oh, it just wicked the bottom on Nvidia, so there's your wick. It worked last time. So let's hopefully 2 times is a charm. That's not even the right saying. The right saying would be 3 times is a charm.
Well, here comes the third time right now.
Well, this is the third time. Well, I missed it the first time because I was in it on the front end at 115, and then I didn't catch it there, so this is the third time. I don't know if it'll be a charm. We're still in Intel to the south side, but I did not get AMD, by the way. And, okay, there it is. We just wicked the bottom again. We're going to go to Adara on the small cap. If we break a fresh low, I'm out of Nvidia. If we get to VWAP, we're trying to take profit into VWAP. Let's go to Adara and the small cap recap.
IWM bounced beautifully yesterday, but like the rest of the market, dropped right into the close. Today, we're actually a little bit lower than the area at which we closed, kind of consolidating near the lows, but nothing too crazy, kind of like what the rest of the market's doing. In terms of small caps, there weren't a ton of movers I saw today. We're going to start here, though, with SPGC here. This is a society group, I believe. And here's the thing. This one's a penny stock. I was seeing a float about under 2 million shares. A couple different floats are giving me different short float numbers, but either way, it's pretty significant. One source I was saying 25%. The other one I saw was over 100%. So SPGC, be careful of the short float. AeroVironment's a little bit different. It's over $100. It's not necessarily a small cap, but I think its move is worth talking about here. I mentioned this one earlier as well. Still down about 5% on the day, but nice push to the upside here. They dropped yesterday off earnings, missing across the board, and they have about a 10 million share, 10% short float for AVAV. Last but not least, Visionary Holdings, this GV is the ticker for this one, announced that they reached a financing consent letter worth $1 billion from this Al Fardan group in Qatar. It's worth noting, too, with GV, they have about a 2 million share float, guys. So lots of low float runners on the move. Back to the guys in Nvidia.
All right, so about being giving some back, we're now at the highest spot we've been at all day right there, as there's Nvidia again, falls right into our lap. We cannot write an easier book, a cleaner book than this. We talked about waiting for better prices as this was falling in, taking small into our lap, loading up near the bottom, and there it goes. It's Nvidia, it's glorious, and it's absolutely fantastic. Let's go Nvidia, man. Nice topside kick there. Right back into it, man. Just rinse and repeat, man. Make $3 or $4, or I guess $2 the first time that was Palantir. Make it again. Just keep this train going, man. It's Nvidia. It's fantastic. That's about as textbook of a trade as you can make. That's a big time share size play if you're playing the game. So there it goes. Nice move for Nvidia.
Yeah, I just got out of Nvidia. It just held a lower high. So you're trending to the downside here on NVDA into a flat bottom. The more times it goes, usually the third time, I feel like if you keep putting lower highs in, eventually you're going to break it to the downside. AMD, which I did not get into, that also wicked its low. So this could be the bounce. I kind of thought if Nvidia was going to give that big of a bounce, we'd see AMD give you the short trade. It hasn't happened just yet. We're still hanging on. There's been no pop in Intel locally just yet, but this is what Intel looks like on the daily chart. The next spot, 2040 into where it is right now is kind of the bottom of that range. Like there was some resistance. It's like 2033 was that area for a couple of days where there was resistance and was a good level. So I'm looking at that as the out there on Intel. Once again, the short on Intel, it's just been good. So let's see what happens if we get back down into that 115. Maybe a third time is going to be a charm on Nvidia as we're going over to Adara.
Here on the market here, as we have a bit of a lift off the lows, we have officials saying from Canada that Canada will not be ending their tariffs unless every one of the U.S. tariffs is lifted. So just to kind of recap what happened yesterday, we had comments from Justin Trudeau announcing some, I guess, reciprocal or retaliatory tariffs against the U.S. starting yesterday. And then in 21 days, they'll have another round of tariffs that'll be more wide-ranging. I'm also seeing comments from this Canadian official. Apparently, Trump and Trudeau are scheduled to speak this morning, so we might get more tariff talk. Again, I don't have a time on this talk, but we might get some more tariff talk from Trump and Trudeau. Back to you.
Do it, Trump and Trudeau, right now, as Nvidia goes up to 116 right now, long at 114.75. And I just put it there in the chat, man. It's not normally this easy. You guys love that textbook talk, but honestly, today, just falling into levels, our levels held, and that was that, right? And we actually, thing is, like, you could see much more relaxed, much easier trading for me, man. And we just wait out for these levels. And again, it's coming with experience and spidey senses. I think that is the number one thing, is to be able to sense, where these levels are be able to look at them and then try to sit there and take them and then get out when you're wrong, right? You never want to go 3x down on a day. 3x up on a day, though, is better, and that's not going to happen all the time. Like this NASDAQ, we just got lucky that we said we'd probably head up to VWAP, and we had bought down here waiting for that play. So that was a great one off the number. Then as it was dropping down, we said, let's wait for the bottom again. It came in, then it retraced. So again, like these bottoms could fall out. And if you're still holding on to those options or whatever you're doing, it's like, just be careful, because at any moment, man, like we could hear in our ear, the tariffs are off. You know, like I really think it's that volatile of a stance that
that'd be a pop though.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So we're holding on to some longs because we don't know what's going to happen here, right? Or tariffs doubled, tripled, I don't know. But there we go, man. It's just a huge day.
I think they're probably going to, the talk will be like, some things are not going to have tariffs on them in Canada and Mexico. That's my guess. Instead of it reducing, it's like, no, we're not going to have it on these few items, maybe autos. That would be big for Canada, obviously. Okay, Amazon just lost VWAP. I keep wanting this. I want it to hold VWAP, but it doesn't want to hold VWAP here in Amazon, so forget about that, at least temporarily. Keep going back over to AMD. There's still no pop to be able to get you into VWAP or anywhere resembling like where I would expect the lower high to be on trend. So if it does that, it's right on VWAP. That's why I'm going to be locked in, loaded into it. So it's this or Amazon. Want to stick to the same names here. Come on, Amazon. There's a little double bottom, 201.50. If it closes VWAP, stop goes in at the double bottom, and I go long above VWAP on that name. You're going to see, I know you're seeing CMRX. Remember, the stock is up, it's up at like 70%. It's not going to move, everybody. But I'm just in here taking either side of the trade. Like there's a couple million shares on either side, and if it moves a cent, that's actually a big story. So you're going to see me in that stock, short 41s or long 40s pretty much, until something changes.
All right, here we go, man. Not much changing over here. Nvidia, though, having a problem with 116. So we just took another out there at 116. It's the 50-period moving average, but we did bump through it there and almost touch VWAP. So it tried to go again right there. So I'm just, again, like we keep saying, man, it's the same old thing. Crude inventory is coming up at 10:30. I don't know if Adara wants to cover that, but that's coming up in 15 seconds. Oil, energy coming up. So, all right, SMCI, just a quick little look, up 1.5% here, which is really nice against the NASDAQ being downside. So as we just mentioned here, let's go over to Adara for crypto and energy.
So crude oil inventories, 3.614 mil versus 0.8 mil previous. Gasoline inventories negative 1.433 mil versus negative 0.75 mil expected. Distillate inventories negative 1.318 mil versus 1.5 mil expected. So we got lower here than expected for gasoline and distillate, higher than expected for crude oil. Now, in terms of the the US dollar, I'm supposed to be looking at Bitcoin here. This is crypto. So here's a look at Bitcoin. Again, we're trying to make our second green candle in a row. And today we actually got a little bit more info as of yesterday with regards to what might be happening with this crypto reserve. Howard Lutnick, who is the Commerce Secretary of the U.S., basically commented that Trump will be prioritizing Bitcoin in the reserve. We know we had some concerns because altcoins were mentioned, that they were going to be taking precedent, with some prominent creators and people in the crypto space, including Tyler Winklevoss, saying that that is not the best idea because Bitcoin is the most proven crypto asset. But we did have Howard Lutnick there to assure people Trump is still prioritizing Bitcoin, and it's still going to be a primarily Bitcoin reserve. I'm also seeing, apparently, though, some talk that there's even a risk of it going through. We do have very pro-crypto Senator Cynthia Lummis, who's a fan of the bill, who's introduced the bill, actually saying that there's not a ton of support from Congress. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But crypto support could be a bit of an issue as we try to get these things passed here going forward in government as a whole, beyond the support that is felt by President Trump. So in terms of the market itself, Bitcoin up about 6%, Ethereum up almost to that 2,200 level, XRP 4%, BNB 4%, Solana 3%, Cardano 15%. Cardano, as of late, has been making the most extreme moves out of these crypto names. So ADA might be one to watch. Also one of the names mentioned in that strategic reserve announcement. Back to you.
Yeah, that was the surprise. The surprise was Cardano and Solana. I think some people expected Ripple. I don't think anybody's surprised about ETH as well. So those are the ones that I think will be the most volatile off this. If they announce, like, if we get percentages, I think that'll be the big thing. Timeline percentages, that's what I want to hear on Friday. Amazon just bounced off VWAP, broke the downtrend, got in above 05s. It just went to the local high here at 205.5. So stop goes from bottom into 204. It's essentially like this prior bar open, which is 204.90. And I want to be able to reload every time it bounces off of the 205 level. I'm now trailing Intel off of trend as it's got a very clean trend on that last low break. So if it breaks the prior, it's actually, I'm putting it above 60. Technically, I could have punched out at 57 there. And if we get to VWAP, I want to reload a short on Intel. So Amazon making higher lows when the market's at the bottom. That's what I like about it, relatively speaking. Like NASDAQ is, you could say trend down, but I'd just say range bound stuck and at the low. So stuck in a range on the NASDAQ, but at the low. And while that's happening, Amazon is just putting in a higher low and above VWAP. So I like it in a relative sense. The fact that it's not retaking that bottom when the market gives a little juice, I think is a bit of a good sign here for AMZN. So we're going to continue to work that one into the long side. We'll favor it.
Well, it's happening right now. 3 in the money on Palantir, $1 on Google. Right now, almost $2 on Nvidia. As there it goes, man. Nvidia rips higher right now. We're waiting for 116.40, but I'm not sure why we're doing that. I'm going to put an offer right here in the 30s, see if we can get that. I think VWAP's come down. We were at 116.40 waiting for VWAP, but now we can see that VWAP's at 25 or so. So let's make sure that we get it, but we just missed that. So let's take it. Okay, there it is. So we'll take a piece out there at 20, basically at VWAP. Silly me, man. We could have made about 15 more cents, but we'll just start to piece again more of this out. We still have 20% of this trade back on, so now we just took out 5% there. So now we have 15% left. We'll wait for that 116.40 still, but look at that retracement off VWAP like crazy right there. So wow. Okay, maybe you should do the same thing on Palantir as it's right here at the 200 period. Let's just get some 90s, and there it is right there again. Props it up for that one, and yeah. It's been good. So what we've done here today over the last little bit, we reloaded Nvidia at the bottom there. That obviously worked out. We got out of SMR. That was our last 20% or 15%. Still stuck positive, but that was obviously a bad out down there as well. Nvidia and Google. I mean, we've just been tweeting some of these things out as well. Google, we just took advantage of that bump up as well. So right now, 5% left of Google, about 15% left of Nvidia, and about 5% left of Palantir. That's that. So let's look for some more names. We wanted to get Robinhood in the building a little bit there today, and we should have. Down there at $45, a really good base there for Hood. We haven't looked at the XLF or anything. I know that was getting beat up yesterday. NASDAQ still flat, same as the ES. So take advantage of that. Maybe to look at other sectors. So we can have a quick look there. I want to see what JP Morgan was doing. Again, I really like JP Morgan. How low did it go, though? 247 yesterday, or even lower than that? Yeah, no, 247. Yesterday's low, 247. Funny how I remember that. But yeah, holding out, not doing much. So not super exciting there today for that. And then we just had the energy number, right? So I didn't catch what it was. I'll look that up in a second. But okay, energy down. So $85 right now to the downside for XLE. So maybe not the greatest. But hey, man, I just blink and look over. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So hopefully you're able to find out what works for you. But right now, these big cap names have been working out for me, playing the levels, being consistent, being chill, and just having things,
thanks, Rob.
Thankfully, work out as Rob. Thank you so much for the refill. Appreciate that with the hot stuff mug.
And what is also hot is 1 month free over at eSignal, so check them out, everybody. That's right, they're waiving fees, so get it while it's good. You got everything in one place, lightning fast data, as we always say, reliable data, markets open, heck, pre-market's open, aftermarket's open, and you've got your data locked and loaded, not only so that you can trade if you hook it up to your broker, but so that you can back and forward test with any tool that you might happen to favor. Check out some new ones or indicators that you've never tried, because they got them all over there at eSignal. All the live tick data so you can replay just about any stock move. Number comes out, quote goes crazy, replay it at the end of the day or back in the middle of the day. You want to check out level 2? Trade off of that, go ahead and do it. You want to make a watch list or a hot list, go ahead and do that. Put your indicators up there, back test, forward test, use the API to automate your trades. It's all about trading smarter and not harder. Oh, and did I mention that the first month is free? Well, everything is for you in one spot. You try it out, you don't like it, no harm, no foul. But I'm pretty sure you're going to find it's an outstanding platform. So check out the QR code, scan it right there in front of you. Link also in the description as well. Big shout out to Signal, and I happen to have Palantir up on that daily chart there, which, by the way, Palantir is at the 50 period on the daily. If this closes above there, remember double bottom, a close above that 50, we like closes above the 50 period and the 200 period moving averages on good stocks. So good luck to Palantir. I think it's got a pretty good shot. Amazon still working toward that high. 206 quarters where the selling has been coming in, so I want to get out. We're looking for a breakout above 207 and VWAP dips there. Intel trailed out back through that 2060.
Oh boy.
So that short's going to get back into VWAP and we'll work it into, it's about 2090 or so. I have a line drawn at 95, don't really need. So Amazon looking good. That's going to get to the high. Just took it out at that high, so we grabbed our buck on Amazon, and we'll wait for the next available dip buy. Just take it station to station. I mean, so far, no complaints about it. The only misstep I had was in Palantir, and it was really quick. It was actually a very tight stop. It was more not getting into the higher low. But I liked Amazon's relative strength, so we went over to Amazon instead. And that one's just, the chart looks a little bit better for Amazon in terms of structure. Like, it's just very clear now holding that higher low.
All right, yeah, good talk there on Amazon. I mean, right now, Nvidia is really starting to levitate up. So we're at 116.80. You asked, let's go, how much we have left. We have 15% left of Nvidia. I'm going to take out 2% again if we can get this 80 level, and it looks like it is starting to go upside right now. So monster trade, obviously. I'm actually going to cancel. I was going to cancel the 80 because I don't want to miss this. Like, I hate sitting there. Joe, how's it going, my guy over there? You got some IBET on your mind? Yeah, me too, man. Me too, man. All right, so here we go. These are all the trades that we just believe in. And if you believe in them, you know, you kind of got to stay here. Palantir still up, still up, still up as we continue to go. What do you guys want to talk about, Uber? All right, so we just got out of Nvidia, some more of Nvidia right there. So we're now holding like that 12.5% or so of that. Oh, man, Uber not doing too much. Like, we're definitely in the right spaces, man. Like, some of these names that I'm calling up just really aren't moving around. And it's like, I'm fine with not trading some of these, right? I mean, this was a missed opportunity again at the bottom, but we didn't miss anything. Like, we already have, we got Nvidia down there, you know? So that's what I'm saying. Like, trade what you guys are looking at, because there's the same move on Tesla. It's a drip down into the day's low again, right? You don't get that very... Like, Nvidia went right back to the very low, but that's close enough, right? 269.50 or so. So grab that low right back up to the 200 period. That's $4 or $5 there, right, for you. So that's what I'm saying about take the profit where the profit lies again, and you know, hold on to something. And I gave that example of you never know what news is going to hit, and you never know where these stocks are going to go. Like, when I was making those comments, Nvidia was about $1 and change lower. Didn't think it was going to get there, but when it does, we sit there and take that out. We even told you we were at 116.80, right? So it's like, try to be patient, try to hit the right trades, and again, just like, Good vibes, man. We bring out the old man sweater after a 3-year hiatus here, and you know, it's bringing some really good luck. We are going to go 4 for 4, all on good ideas. So love when it works out like that, and love when it's time to throw over to the big screen to get a change of pace with Adara. He's either muted or broke. Remember, her mic dropped, so it could also be broken. It
was doing a weird thing.
There it is. Okay, she's back on. I just heard her. So, okay, Andre, you give me the thumbs up. Adara.
Sorry about that. My mic was not aware that it was already on. So we're going to take a look here, starting with these names that are to the downside. The energy sector really weak here. XOM to the downside. We had a bit of a catalyst earlier with regards to its LNG export, but that didn't really move it. Utilities right across the board. Communications pretty red here as well. T-Mobile actually to downgrade today. And industrials weak too. Now, where is there strength in this market? Health technology has a few bright spots, including Eli Lilly. We have some strength in process manufacturing. Good look for produce manufacturing. We have also here this retail trade sector with Amazon and Walmart pushing it to the upside. Technology services, Microsoft, Meta, Oracle, all looking pretty green here. And then we have electronic technology. Broadcom green, Apple red, and Nvidia a little bit mixed. So it's a really mixed look here for this tech sector. Finance is worth noting as well. This sector has been really performing pretty outstandingly to the upside or downside. But today, it's flat. Back to you.
Boo energy. That's all I got to say. There's some pain going on. Remember someone asked me about Eli Lilly. No, it wasn't Eli Lilly, it was Occidental the other day. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't feel very good about Oxy. And it broke.
Whoopsies.
Okay, check that. It's at the 52-week low. So by about 1 or 2, it's about to make a 52-week low in like 2 or 3 cents, something along those lines. So Oxy right down there with energy under a tremendous amount of pressure. But yeah, no real trade there. I'm not going long Occidental off that low. I know it looks really good on the chart. But Amazon just pulled right back into the high. The sellers are still there at 206.5. Going to look for a reload off VWAP if we can get it. If it puts in a higher low, I want to play the trend on Amazon. As long as it holds the trend, I want to be looking longs on Amazon. So up that 1%, it's strong relative to the market. Just looking for the reloads somewhere around either VWAP or maybe it'll just hold the trend line directly as well. So that's where we're trying to get back in on the long. As far as Intel goes, I'll only like to short on a lower high as long as the market's not breaking out the top. The market's looking relatively strong here. So I want to get back into the short, ideally VWAP, maybe 21s. But if the market starts breaking, it's going to be more about joining long trades than anything else. So Amazon just going to be patient with it. So far, that has worked here today. As we said, patience is a virtue for sure.
Thank you so much for all the nice comments right there. Thank you to Finch Jane, their coach Sean, talking about that. Well, hey man, I mean, I'm glad to have everybody as part of the team, and I mean, and that's what. This is what started the show, was, trying to coach and trying to help traders get better, get bigger, and have more success, right? I just used to do it for all of our traders here at Real Trading, and now we're doing it for you. And someone once told me that those who can't do, teach. I'm trying to do both. And I think that's exactly what the point is of all of us being open book here. You can always ask us anything and we'll tell you anything you want to know roughly about our trading, about how we're doing, what our strategy has been working out today or not, what we're thinking, all that kind of stuff. So, that's why I keep trying to review all of the trades that I'm making, even including when we got stopped out right there and telling you what percentage we had, right? Up green on SMR, green on Palantir. We did get stopped out there and again, but this is why we're sitting here live trying to talk through some of these trades. Palantir, a big time green name. My number one name today has been what's been working out for us. We've used $14.50 as our stop for Nvidia. So, 20-cent stop to make $2+, so we're going to have a good day there. And then we knew that we talked about Google. So we like that 169. I mean, it was written down right on our sticky note today as our number one trade idea, right? So this goes out at 8 o'clock, whoopsies, 9 o'clock. And you can see right here, Google 169 long. Our number one trade idea, Neil. And there it goes right there, 169 long up to 171.20. So that's going to hit for us. Then Nvidia's on here at 115. We're long at 115. That's $2 in the money. So we're going to go Google check. That's 1 for 1. Nvidia's 2 for 2. Palantir's 3 for 3. SMR is 4 for 4. So big day, and we're just kind of just hovering around, not doing too much right now, though, letting the market see about a levitation, and it's kind of happening right now. So let's get some more out as we go. Again, good-looking move here happening for us on Nvidia. Let's make sure we do take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Take advantage of it. I mean, I go over the same thing, 4 for 5, but I don't necessarily care about that. I'm not in any positions right now. The focus is on the next position.
Right, yep.
And it's got to be Amazon. There was just... Look at the wicks on this silly chart. At 06, this just wicked down to 60 and then wicked up to the high of the day. So you're still getting really choppy action up and around here on Amazon. And you know what? from following a rule, when it's whipping around like that, sitting there on a bid is not the style I like, because a lot of times if it wicks down, you get in, it'll just break the trend for the sake of getting everybody out. You get wicked in, you get wicked out on that trade. I'd rather have it on the way back up through a wick if we're going to be able to grab it. And I feel the same way about Intel, only I think the market's looking relatively strong in here today. Nvidia, they're still not breaking out 117, and you're holding on to VWAP. There's no trend, there's no trend entry. I don't have an entry that isn't 115 or it getting above 117 at this point. So I'm just going to wait for either one of those two things to happen on Nvidia. It's sort of chilling in the same range where we traded it the last couple of times. So let's be a little bit patient with it. I know we missed the Chinese ADR. Shout out to everyone that's mentioning Alibaba. These are going absolutely ham. Well, check that. This is going ham. I haven't looked at JD, so don't at me if one of the other Chinese ADRs isn't as strong. So there has not been a red candle yet on a 15-minute chart. Obviously, none of these levels are going to matter at this point, like 35 or 29. Wasn't really thinking about the upper band here, but $141 is $3 away. I'd look for a mean reversion at that price. So if Alibaba goes another couple of points, I'm going to be looking for a short. I like to respect the levels that Baba already showed you, and then doubly the fact that it'll probably be in the afternoon when ADR slow down anyways. So that'll be right around that spot where I expect volatility to decrease a little bit, and then look for the short trade or reversion in Alibaba. There's another topping tail on Amazon, so let's let it try to hold on to this trend line on the next candle. If it does, we jump back into the long. If it doesn't, then that should give us a trade off of VWAP here.
All right, let's look at IBIT, because you're down here to 89,000, so we can definitely have a look here on IBIT and have a quick little look again, because underneath VWAP, and it's been really holding that all day, so this would be a good look. I'm thinking about going short, honestly. I mean, I don't really ever like going short, on Bitcoin, because I do cheer it. Wow, this is very sketchy to draw that line, but yeah, we'll see if we can continue on this trajectory to the downside. So just looking to maybe get a pop into somewhere where there could be some possible resistance. I mean, 50.35, you're not that far away from that right now. So back up into the 50-period moving average, and then maybe hold that until you get a 50-50 break. That could be something for sure right there. So yeah, IBIT looking pretty decent here. All right, I mean, sometimes we have to wait to see what's going to happen in the Forex market, because especially with all this tariff talk, those of you trading US dollar, even Mexican peso, I haven't been looking at that lately, but with energy moving around as well, definitely a good time to look at Money Talks with Adara at the desk.
Let's take a look here at the DXY, which is continuing its trajectory to the downside. This is kind of a combination of a rounded top and just a downtrend from the highs, but the DXY continuing to free fall here. We got a couple economic data prints this morning. S&P Services PMI and Composite PMI coming above estimates, as did the S&P Services PMI, the ISM Services PMI. So 3 PMI prints all came in higher than expected. Factory orders month over month were flat, so exactly in line with expectations. Slightly above expectations here for the durable goods revised, but generally all these numbers came in either above or in line with estimates. So pretty strong look there for the DXY in terms of these economic numbers coming in. We know yesterday we started to have a little bit of a change in the tide when it comes to rate expectations. Now we actually have some people expecting a cut coming through in May, with a small amount of participants even expecting a 50 basis point cut in May. So we'll have to wait and see what's happening as we have some of these trends change, even for the month of March, as we saw yesterday. We're having slightly less participants expecting that we won't have a cut than we initially did. So the no cut is still the highest probability, but this small increasing amount of people expecting a 25 basis point cut, I think is absolutely worth noting here, guys. I also just saw a note on DOMH, apparently getting a short report from J Capital. So keep an eye on DOMH as we send you back to the guys for the last 10 minutes.
Last 10 minutes.
All right, so Amazon didn't hold there. So yeah, no long entry for Amazon as it just broke the trend. I'm going to kick myself. If the market heads to the low of the day, then the fact that I'm bullish on Amazon, you're going to look back at this and say, oh, Emil, you should have shorted when it broke that trend line. Well, I think I'm bullish on Amazon today, so I'm not going to make that reversion. This is why. It's this candle. and the continuation that I'm looking for off the daily. So I'm just preferring the long. Yeah, I'll stick with that. Get back above the trend and see if we can get into it. Intel, I am offering Intel in front of VWAP. We may not be able to get that one again. So Intel's still continuing to look relatively weak. I haven't seen much that's as bad as them to the downside. So either we get a push into 75, looks like resistance, or VWAP isn't really a level right now. It's more like 21 or 2075 on that bad boy. And I keep coming back over to AMD, kind of weak, lower highs into a flat bottom. VWAP is being respected. So that is very cleanly respecting VWAP on AMD. So we'll short off this, maybe letting it get right into 100.25 would be the play. So I want to say three same names because that's a new one there on AMD, but no reversal short on that trend break. If anything, this could be great that it rinsed some people that took that trend break short, and I can now look for the long back on Amazon. It's even better. If I was bearish, I'd be short this move right now on Amazon and getting stopped out at 06. So if we close back on trend, I can just jump in instead of being caught.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of some of these positions. There's only 10 minutes left. Let's try to look for some new names. We got to have some Palantir right here as it starts still going upside. That's $3. We got to have some Nvidia right here as well, as just getting nervous that it was going to break. But then they're all coming back up, so we'll still hold that piece. We're not at the highest spot we've been at all day, but we're getting close to that again because we just took some out. So the unrealized gains or losses is changing just a little bit. Ford up 4% today, so that's going to be a real nice pull for them. Right back up. We did talk about this yesterday or a couple days ago when I had mentioned it wasn't moving on imbalances, and then someone was mentioning that maybe it's breaking out. So I think you still got to get above this 960 area to sort of get that going there for Ford. So another move up 4% today, good one for Ford. GM was already up 5 in the pre-market, but that did pull back, but still holding Ford a little bit again into the 200 period, but all these lines are kind of lining up right now. So I'm not super excited about anything right here because if we start standing underneath, then break this, then I say look out below. But if you're looking to buy some GM, maybe in and around $47. Rivian, a name that, again, I know there's some people that like it. You know, we kind of tease that down there at $10 is the ultimate bottom. But, you know, if you like 10 and you're starting to think about something, Rivian isn't, I mean, I still think all these cars are so expensive, but at the end of the day, you know, someone's going to have to buy them, and they do, right? I mean, Rivian doesn't necessarily have a demand problem, but right down there, they're going to have a cash flow problem, I think, trying to produce as many cars as they can. But again, more loans coming. We'll see if anything happens with the new administration with that as far as that's concerned. But down to $10 again, that looks like a good base. Today, Rivian disappointed, right? I mean, considering that we just looked at Ford and GM, Rivian only up 0.3. And then the other car manufacturer here, we looked at Stellantis was doing well today. Obviously, when we're talking about parts and whatnot. Tesla only up 0.6. So again, good bottoms there for TSLA. Could be coming in to play one more time. I still like Shopify. I'm just seeing that's showing up on a scanner, so it's probably something around near VWAP probably. I'm going to imagine, I guess, high of day right there. So, you know, despite the market not being at high of day, this is why these scanners aren't that bad. Breaking through this little level here, 104.25, you know, gives you some juice there, but up 1.7%. So that's just a little bit of a look there on Shopify, Tesla, Ford, GM.
Shopify, Canada. I love Enbridge, sure. And I like to buy good stocks or dollar cost average into good stocks when they start to fall. So, I'm looking at it in whatever. I'm looking at it in Toronto. Same nonsense. I could pull it up in New York. Sorry, but the 200 period will be the same thing, just different price, obviously because of the currency. But if we start to put a 50 on it, I don't want to get too cute. If we break 59, I'm probably buying it in the next couple of days. And then if it breaks 56, I'm buying it the next quarter. So I'm going to start DCing. It's under the 50 period. I believe they report coming soon. But no, that's when you mentioned shop there. My first thought was, oh yeah, Enbridge. I was looking at that chart today and like it. So if I enter short, I'd already be stopped out because I would have stopped out right here at 206 even on Amazon, but I like the stock to the long side. So long over 06. Now if it breaks trend again, I jump out. So it's held onto the trend upward the entire way. Just a quick reminder, it's not exactly 207. It's like 206.80 is the local high. So I think 207 is a breakout on Amazon. And I want to long this into 07, then I want to take a breakout as well on Amazon. So Amazon looking pretty strong. We haven't really talked about a lot of the other Mag 7 names. I'm just going to point out that Apple kind of stinks today for whatever reason, down 1.34. Was there? I don't know. Maybe there was. I don't think there was.
No, I don't think there was.
1 1/3 down on Apple. Like at some point, if this starts to catch up, someone's selling it at 233.25 as it holds VWAP to the downside, and it's very clearly trend down. So if we fail the high, I know I like Intel as long as it's under VWAP for reload shorts. AMD kind of the same thing. But you got to start thinking about Apple too. For whatever reason, it's a little bit of a dog today. Down what Amazon is up. NASDAQ flat. Kind of weird why this one is so weak, but this is what happened yesterday. When the market started to pick up juice, remember Apple couldn't go anywhere and it fell back into the bottom and then it just refused to bounce when the market was going. You saw everything rally in the afternoon. Bitcoin, Nvidia, Apple looking weak again. Stung.
Yeah, we had sort of looked at that Apple breaking that 236 level. Should have been a short. Wasn't really looking over there. But, okay, so now we're going to be gone in a couple minutes. Just real quick. I have an Nvidia offer at 116.60 right here at the 200 period moving average. Let's get that going. That's only 15 cents from now. So we'll probably take another out right there on Nvidia. We have 10% left of Nvidia. That's it. Remember, we had 12.5. We take that fill right there. So Nvidia right now, $2 in the money, trying to get that going. But again, nothing we can do about it. We'll just wait to see if we get that 116.60 fill. Great. We're long at 114.75 right now on Nvidia. I don't even see Obi. I don't even think Obi's here. But he just messaged me and was talking all about this Nvidia trade. So mad love for you there, Obi. Thank you so much for those kind words again. But that's what we're looking for. We just missed it. Hey man, maybe we're getting a little too greedy, but we do have 10% left of that one. We are looking at Palantir. I'm up here at 87. So if that comes through, 86.75 for Palantir for $4. That'd be nice. Google, okay. Google's right now, I was going to tell you that I was a little bit higher than this, but I didn't realize it's at view up right now. We just put an offer and it went down, but there it is. Nice little play there. Subscribe right now. That's another out right there for us on Google. Next out up here at the 200 period for your trade of the day. 169 long on Google as it was written. We talked about Nas yesterday. As it was written, that's Google. As it was written, Nvidia down here. Sticky note says between 115 and 114.50. All right, and then Palantir, we actually wrote down 83.50, so we did lose when it broke 83. We talked about 83 being the bottom, but you get that. Joe had mentioned this yesterday, sort of like a clear kind of reversal pattern there off of a low wick. So we waited for that. We waited for it to take 83 again, and we're long. We're long at 82.98, but we waited for 83 to get taken again. We pushed that long, and the rest is history. So, yeah, man, big day alert here. We talked about that. It was a triple day for us. So we're not going to give any back in the midday, but join us back here again at 2 p.m. So good day over there. Hopefully it's a good day for our midday guys as well. Thanks to Ramin for all that off the open as we had our position board issues, and she was
good work,
great fixing that. Thanks to Andre for filling in as well. Thanks to Dara for all of the news drops and the work at the board. And a big thanks to Bears versus Bulls as well. Thank you to Brendan for the open with Sharif. But now it's Joe and Sharif.
Options.
So it's
Joe.
Options Joe and Professor Sharif getting ready for Learn to Trade. Ciao.
See ya.